Good evening and welcome back to Hastings Stadium for another Tuesday night matchup as the Royals welcome the Hamilton Cardinals to town in what is a contrast of one of the hottest teams in baseball, hosting one of perhaps the most ice cold. Hamilton in the powder blue, the Royals in their home whites, as Guelph has gone 8-2 in their last 10 and are on a 2-game win streak and just a few games out of first place behind those pesky Well and Jackfish. Meanwhile, the Hamilton Cardinals, the wheels have fallen off, or the wings perhaps, have fallen off of late, 1-9 in their last 10. Scott Fraser joined up in the booth by Neil Sriwasa. Neil, Claudio Custodio, who threw just a heap of strikeouts in that win on Sunday, and Barry, not on the mound tonight, but batting in the lineup and playing left field for Dino Romel.
Yeah, it's just a chance to get him some more at-bats here and everything else. Plus, we got a couple guys out of the lineup tonight. No Darius Barless at first base again, as there's girlfriends in town, so he's requested a few days off. So you got Kyle Cush playing first base tonight, so it's new guys in some new places.
And most notably, Andrew Case starting on the mound for the Royals tonight. He has had a few appearances since joining this team about 10 days ago and has been lights out in those few outs that he's been able to throw. But a starting job is a much different kind of task than a relief call-in. So we'll see what Case, the former Blue Jays farmhand, has in store for Hamilton, who, again, without Justin Gideon, and have made some moves, and Louis Jean will lead it off for the Cards here. And Hamilton just looking to kind of bridge the gap that they've kind of fallen off of, and now all of a sudden find themselves just a few games ahead of Brantford in the basement of the IBL, as Jean makes his way into the box to get this game underway. The first time he'll see Case this evening.
Well, Case is just probably going to do an opener's role, maybe 1 or 2 innings, maybe 3 max here. He's just trying to get a couple more innings under his belt and get qualified officially for the playoffs as well. So
a first pitch strike to open up the ball game from Case on Jean. And much like we saw with Brandon Dean's on Saturday rather, who started a gem when we thought maybe 1, 2, or 3 innings, and he went 5. As that one is grounded over to Collymore, throwing on to Cush for the 5-3 putout. 1 down for the Cardinals, and Tristan Osika will follow for Hamilton. So Case being caught by Noah Roberts tonight, and Noah Roberts has been pretty formidable since being called up from the Silver Creeks, and has been a good 1-2 punch with Brendan Keys behind the plate rather. Also due up here in the top of the first is Tyler Duncan, who has been a whole heap of nightmares for the Royals pitching staff in his few visits here to Hastings so far, as that one misses for ball number 1. The 1-0 coming from Case on Osika, who swings and misses at the first strike that he sees. So the count is now even at 1-1 with 1 gone. The 1-1 pulled over the head of Brando LaRue for a base hit from Osika. And 1 aboard for Hamilton, with Tyler Duncan now making his way from the on-deck circle to the box. And again, he has just been fantastic. Probably the most powerful and consistent hitter for this Cardinals lineup so far this season. He's played in 3, 4, 5 hole every time we've seen him here at Hastings. Tonight, back to the 3 spot with no Justin Gideon left in the Hamilton lineup. As Case sets and delivers 0-1. The 0-1 with Case looking to throw the second pitch of the at-bat. Pulled. Cush makes the play over to Morrow. Back to Cush. Double play, inning over. Bing, bang, boom. There you go. And a quick 1-2-3 inning for Andrew Case in his first start as a Royal. We are off to the bottom half of the first. Dalton Pompey, Connor Morrow, and Ethan Hammond are due up. back to Hastings Stadium. Scott Fraser and Neil Sriwasa up in the booth, and Dalton Pompey to lead off the home half of the first inning for the Royals. After Andrew Cason's very first start as a Guelph Royal went 1-2-3 for a quick top half of the inning, Pompey will look to get aboard as he's done so very many times so far this season and get into scoring position for Connor Morrow, who is one of the many hot hitters in the Royals lineup in the 2-hole tonight. That one a favorable strike call on the outside part of the plate. Mike Bonacorso up in the count 0-1. The 0-1 coming, and that will even it up as it is well outside. 1-1 now. The infield in a pretty normal setup here with Pompey leading off, but again, wheels on wheels for 32 in white tonight. That one couldn't find the zone or Veilleux's glove, who is again pitching for Hamilton, the third straight time he's done so here at Hastings Stadium for Hamilton. But batting ninth, Jeremy Veilleux tonight, which is an oddity to say the least. We'll touch on that later. Bonacorso delivers the 2-1. Pompey pulls it, and a hot shot gets through the first baseman's legs, and Dalton Pompey will find his way aboard as Josh Niles could not hold on to one that was laced, and Pompey gets all the way to second and finds himself into scoring position for Connor Morrow. And that blue bat, that blue thunder, blue lightning, or the royal blue, as we like to call it up here.
Sadly, that one went through the wickets at first base, Bill Buckner, and Pompey doesn't get a hit, but he's at second base to start the inning.
So that'll be an error plus a 1?
Yeah, well, just an error, and then he advanced on defensive inability to grit the ball, I guess, as this one goes wild over the head.
And Dalton Pompey is now 90 feet away from home on a either wild pitch or pass ball.
That is a wild pitch.
High, well high of the zone from Bonacorso on Veilleux. And Jeremy Veilleux, as tough of a season as the Cardinals have had so far this year, Veilleux behind home plate has been fantastic for Hamilton, both at the dish and defensively. So rare to see him miss one. So wild pitch from Mike Bonacorso here. And now all of a sudden, Dalton Pompey 90 feet away from scoring and opening up the scoring in this ball game as Bonacorso misses yet again to make it 2-0.
Of course, Veilleux and Bonacorso, this is the first time they've worked together this year. Of course, Bonacorso came over from Welland. He was released the other day by the Jackfish. They had to make room on the roster for Justin Gideon, who signed with the Jackfish on Sunday officially and officially got announced yesterday morning.
Bonacorso missed on that third pitch, so 3-0, and Connor Morrow happy to take ball 4, a 4-pitch walk. Runners on the corners for Ethan Hammond with no men gone, and Malik Collymore makes his way to the on-deck circle, and as he did just a few weeks ago against Kitchener, Malik Collymore had himself quite the Sunday in Barrie. More on that in a moment after Ethan Hammond faces Bonacorso here and looks to drive in either Pompey or Morrow or both and himself here.
Well, the Royals, usually when they score first, do a lot of damage early. Puts the pitcher's minds at ease.
That one, again, is 5th straight ball. So perhaps the pressure of the Hastings crowd that is well over 1,200 on a Tuesday, getting to Mike Bonacorso on the mound for the Cardinals, who evens up the count at 1-1. Hammond with runners on the corners flies one to center field. High and deep, but not quite deep enough. But Dalton Pompey will tag and score to open up the scoring here at Hastings on a Tuesday. A sac fly from Ethan Hammond and an RBI as Dalton Pompey finds his way home. Malik Collymore back to the plate, and he had another good Sunday. And after a big game against Kitchener on the road, he has been a road warrior for this Royals team.
A 9-game hitting streak coming into tonight's action. I think it's the Malik Collymore show. We're just a happy viewer some nights.
And a very, very golden opportunity to make that a double-digit game hit streak here, as he is batting in the cleanup hole as he's done all season long. But quickly behind 0-2 to Bonacorso. Bonacorso seems to be settling in after a few bumpy at-bats for the Royals, but 0-2 coming. Collymore pulls it high and deep to left field. Foul.
Just foul.
That one looked like it was a 2-run shot just about all the way until the foul pole.
Well, Malik gets to reset here, and who knows, maybe put that one fair somewhere.
We'll see if Bonacorso makes him feel a little overzealous, as we've seen Malik feel sometimes at the plate so far and chase one. No problem with the ball, a waste pitch here, and with Hammond at first. Collymore high and deep to left field. This one's not foul at all, and over the wall.
And they're calling a ground rule double by the looks of it.
Just bounced in the warning track, and that will hold Hammond at third. Collymore to second. One gone, and J.D. Williams, who's no stranger to swinging hard, is now making his way to the plate.
Collymore extends the hit streak to 10 games on that double. And the Royals are definitely threatening with more runners in scoring position here. And J.D. Williams is also swinging a hot stick of late. Got the average up to 321.
As have
plate umpire gives Williams time here.
Many of the Royals well above that 300 threshold in terms of batting average now. Williams slices one over the Hamilton dugout for strike number one. And Claudio Custodio, batting sixth tonight, is due up next. He's playing left field. And after a few busy weeks for Claudio, he is showing zero signs of fatigue, Neil.
Oh, exactly. And it's just, Claudio is a gamer. He just likes to go out there and swing the bat any time you get us a chance to do so. So it's a nice little option for manager Dino Ramel to have as well.
No Sean Riley in the lineup. Josh Garton still sidelined with that ambiguous injury. We will see if he can make his way back into the lineup sooner than later, but Guelph in no desperation for his help so far. That one doesn't come back inside over the plate. It is now 1-1 after Williams fouled off the first pitch he saw from Bonacorso. Hammond 90 feet away from home. That one ran inside on JD for ball two. Hammond looking to double the lead, standing at third, and Collymore at second with a fairly large jump. But JD swings and fouls one straight back and over the Hastings Stadium grandstands for strike number two to make the count 2-2. The 2-2 coming from Bonacorso, high and inside for some chin music. Count is now full.
Williams, one of the three that got hit in Barrie in the ninth inning, unfortunately.
And that game that was 14-3 as a final was much closer than the box score shows, as Williams gets one into left field to score Hammond and advance Collymore to third. JD, a one-out RBI single. Guelph now up 2-0, and Claudio Custodio with runners on the corners will face Bonacorso for the first time this evening.
Just one out here, and the Brantford's manager coming out, or sorry, Hamilton's manager coming out. Have a little chat with Bonacorso here. Probably just calm him down, remind him, hey, stop getting the ball up too high in the zone here. Make them hit ground balls.
And with probably the most humid night we've hosted a game here at Hastings so far this season, a understandable kind of misread, assuming that the palms of Mike Bonacorso are as sweaty as mine so far this evening.
And, you know, it's his first game with his new team, too, so it's like, okay. Maybe he's just trying to, a little too hard to impress some people out here. rather than just focus on what had got him here to this point anyways and just get ground ball outs.
And anyone who's watched any Royals games knows that it's not just a few guys in the lineup that can make you pay. It is all 9 on any given night. Runners on the corners for Claudio Custodio, who swings at the first pitch he sees from Bonacorso. That will be out number 2, but not before Malik Collymore crosses home plate to make it 3-0, and Noah Roberts on his way to the plate with J.D. Williams at second base. And a quick start for Guelph here in the bottom of the first, but Bonacorso one good pitch away from bringing it to a quick end. JD can really move over there from second to third, but with 2 gone and a 3-0 comfortable lead here in the first, probably unlikely to do so. Unless, of course, a ball gets by Veu, as it does. JD Williams takes a free advance to third after that pass ball.
Veu got a piece of it, but just not enough with the keeper in front of him. And Roberts has got an 0-1 count, or 1-0 count to him.
And a golden opportunity to add to this lead. The 1-0 check swing bounces off of Veu, and JD will come home to make it 4-0. So the count now 1-1. As Roberts did actually swing at that pitch. Roberts pulls one to right field, high, deep.
Bounces
and
off the fence.
Off the wall. And Roberts with a 2-out double to bring up Kyle Cush to the plate. And Guelph showing no signs of slowing down here. Here in the bottom of the first, up 5-0. Excuse me, we double check our scoring. It is only 4-0 here in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, it's only 4 guys.
As Neil Sriwasta confirms with the in-house scoreboard. Bonacorso deals to Cush. High to miss for ball number 1. Misses low, 2-0.
Hit the set and then the guess and a home score.
Roberts with a healthy lead at second on his way to third as Cush swings on to second, on to first. And that will be a out number 3 here, but not before the Royals bring 4 home to give themselves a 4-0 cushion through 1 inning at Hastings Stadium on a Tuesday night.
And welcome back to Hastings Stadium. Top of the second inning, the Guelph Royals taking on the Hamilton Cardinals with the Royals leading 4-0. I'm Neil Sherwasfoot, joined by Scotty Frazier to do another Tuesday night at the ballpark. Definitely a hot and sticky one here. Game time temperature was 31 degrees Celsius when we started.
And as they say, it's not the heat, it's the humidity that gets you.
Exactly.
And I feel like that is a very, very true case here tonight, as Andrew Case is through one inning and one pitch, falling behind 1-0 here to get it going in the top of the second. That one finds the zone to even the count. And a very special shout out to Sammy down in Marina, Florida, who is watching her friend and loved one, Brando LaRue, here this evening.
Peel down to first. He did not go around. Counts now 2 balls and a strike.
That one misses to make it 3-1 on Niles. Niles playing first tonight and has been a pretty much small thorn in the side of the Royals here at Hastings so far this season as he chops one to Collymore. Collymore over to Cush at first, a 5-3 put out for out number 1. And Josiah Devapalon will follow here. Lane Renault also due up in the top of the second for the Cardinals, who have had their struggles of late, but looking to turn things around and get inside the head of some of these pitchers and opposing teams all at once.
The Cardinals have definitely been busy on the transaction wires lately. I think 6 acquisitions in the last 3 or 4 days anyways. Definitely trying to get a new look out here. Parted ways with Justin Gideon over the weekend as well.
And Devin Pallon fouls one off. Case ahead, 0-2. And with the 4-0 lead and Andrew Case having the pedigree and resume that he's had, feeling absolutely no pressure to throw a strike here.
Well, when he mixes one up high anyways.
Seeing if Devin Pallon would chase, as he does not. So Josiah stays alive, 1-2. The 1-2 misses to even the count at 2-2.
Well, that one just kind of slipped out of Case's hand here.
Sweaty palm kind of night on a Tuesday at Hastings. Devin Pallon pulls one to right, or flares one to right, rather, over the head of Claudio Custodio, or J.D. Williams, excuse me. And Devin Pallon over to second, trying to turn it into a double, and does in there safely with a 1-out 2-bagger for the Cardinals.
Great throw by Williams. Almost got him there in time. It'll go in the books as a double with one away.
Number 9, Lane Renault.
As Lane Renault comes to the plate.
Renault batting .202 on the year.
And those
these guys in this Cardinals lineup that you just got to get going somehow.
And those averages kind of mislead you, as we mentioned in previous broadcasts. It's just if you have guys on base, as the Royals always seem to do, a lot of guys get above 300 because those base runners create a small amount of hell for the pitcher, which takes the focus away. As Renault, opposite fielder right, and that one again off the wall, and that should score Devin Pallon, as Renault is in there with a 1-out RBI double, and Hamilton is on the board. Josiah Devin Pallon did not waste a second of time getting on his horse and rounding his way home, as Lane Renault did his job and drove him in and finds himself in the scoring position, and Hamilton now with a real chance to cut this lead in half or better.
As Anthony Bonanito comes up to the plate, he's batting .309 on the year. Playing left field tonight. Apologies, Anthony, if we say your name wrong. It's just a lot of consonants and vowels in the middle there.
In succession.
Exactly.
As Case gets ahead 0-1 on Bonanito, as I will say that incorrectly and not on purpose. That one flared to center, and Dalton Pompey can't come down with it. That will be scored as an error and advance Lane Renault to third. Now runners on the corners after that dropped lazy fly ball to center falls in there. And Sean Pettner, who, again, one of those other cards that has been a thorn in the side of the Royals, comes back to the plate to look to see if he can cut further into this 4-1 lead that now belongs to the Royals.
Pettner batting .344.
And that's a dangerous kind of hitter in a lineup that doesn't have many players over 300. As he takes ball number 1, and Andrew Case obviously well aware of the pedigree of Pettner. Checks over to first and a kind of show me where you're standing throw over, and not much to it. As
it's more like, hey, I know you're there. You're going to stay there until I'm done pitching to this guy.
Pettner sawed off and foul. That definitely broke the bat.
I think it definitely, you can see by the handle, it's definitely got a big old crack in it now.
I could see by the noise it made even.
Oh, so he's looking for another bat here.
So essentially a saw off, and Pettner now needs a new piece of lumber here with Case, who has that power as we've seen in AAA, and a welcome addition to this Royals bullpen, and likely, much like Brandon Deans, we'll see just a few innings of action here in tonight's start. That one misses to make it 2-1. Renault at third. Bonanuito at first. Pettner at the dish. Runners on the corners, one gone. Pettner swings and misses. The count is now 2-2. Jeremy Veilleux, the catcher, is loosening up in the on-deck circle here. Case delivers the 2-2. That one, Cush over to Morrow at second. Can't come down with it. And a bit of a hot throw over to Morrow, who is usually sure-handed, but nonetheless can't come down with it. And Lane Renault scores to make it 4-2. And Jeremy Veilleux, with runners at first and second and just one out, with a real chance to suck the wind out of the Royals' sails.
This is probably more of a trip out to Andrew Case to say, hey, sorry, the defense has let you down a little bit here. Can you get us another ground ball here? We'll give it another college try here.
For Andrew Case, he feels like, or one would assume he feels like, I should be out of this inning quite quickly already. A dropped fly ball to center field by Dalton Pompey, and a bit of a mishap in the infield between Cush and Morrow have accounted for both of these Hamilton runs. That makes it 4-2, and now the Cards with two men on and just one gone, threatening. And Veilleux, a very, very well-respected hitter, especially as a catcher in this league.
Batting .311 to this point so far, so.
Maybe the understatement of the year is respected. Case delivers one, maybe perhaps overthrown, ran outside and low for ball one. The 1-0 coming. Swung on and missed for a strike. And Andrew Case is a horse compared to some of the pitchers that will be in this league, and he knows it. It's no surprise to him that he is a well-respected pitcher, and Veilleux shows that respect, trying to protect the strike zone there to make it 1-2. So Case really probably not praying for a ground ball here. No fear of striking out back-to-back batters to end this inning at 4-2. 1-2 coming. Veilleux swings and misses for strike number 3. And Louis Jean back to the plate for his second appearance of the evening. He grounded out to start the ball game for the Cards, and the Hastings hands come together. Jean, one of those other guys in this lineup that knows how to find his way and make contact, and with power at most times. A shortstop.
51 on the year. His average is going to drop slightly with that 0 for 1.
And Collingmore takes the hot shot and takes the force unassisted 5 put out. for out number 3. He made that basket catch on Saturday and makes the midsection catch or kick save to end the top of the second, but not before Hamilton scores 2. 4-2, we go off to the bottom of number 2. Brando LaRue to lead it off in the home half of the second. He'll be followed by the top of the order, Dalton Pompey and Connor Morrow also due up. Pompey reached by way of error and got all the way to second before stealing third or getting to third on a pass ball and wild pitch, and scoring. And then Connor Morrow, in his first plate appearance, walked and later scored. And LaRue batting ninth, his first appearance here so far this evening, takes ball number 1.
LaRue came in action batting .243, but don't let that average fool you. He's definitely more valuable on the field as a defender than he is as a hitter. But he's more than capable of putting some things into play himself here as he hits this one to left field. That looks like it's going to go off the top of the fence. LaRue's going to get on his horse and go to second base here with the double before stopping.
And that one is for Sammy down in Marina, Florida, who is likely our biggest fan here and jumping from floor to ceiling after that leadoff double from Brando to get the bottom of the second underway. And Dalton Pompey will follow. So a pair of nightmares if Pompey can find a way aboard on the base path with LaRue and Dalton's foot speed for Bonacorso. We'll see what happens in this second at-bat for Pompey, who, again, reached by way of error and later scored to lead off the bottom half of the second. And LaRue always a threat to take a bag. That one in there for strike number 1 from Bonacorso on Pompey. LaRue making his move back as Louis Jean checks at second, and Bonacorso gets the call for strike number 2, and for what seems to be the umpteenth time so far this year, Dalton not getting the favorable call on a borderline pitch.
Wonder if the umpire is holding to a different standard here too, just as far as that stuff goes. Hey, it's an inside pitch. When you're a professional ball player, you should be able to hit that.
It would be a fair assessment and one that probably has some legs to it, as that one does miss outside to make it 2-1. And Jean creeping back towards second, who's playing short for the Cards. That one doesn't get the call, and Bonacorso and Pompey are deadlocked at deuces with Brando LaRue at second. Not sure if that one was inside as Pompey made it seem, but sold the job and even the count at 2-2. Bonacorso delivers. well outside. Veu keeps it in the mitt. Count is now full, and we'll see if Dalton shows that perpetual patience that he has so far at the plate so far this season.
Bonacorso came as a 3.86 ERA on the season.
Checks LaRue at second, delivers the payoff, and Pompey pulls one just foul of the first base bag. So we will do it again, but that would have been extras and an RBI for Dalton with the speed on the base path and the foot speed of Pompey as well.
That's a tough call for the plate umpire because with the umpires now shifted in to second base and third base, so that call suddenly becomes the plate umpire's call.
And it seemed to be the right one from my standpoint, so a fair enough judgment from the home plate umpire, and count remains full. Bonacorso checks LaRue twice. Now delivers to Pompey, who pops one foul behind the grandstand. And a loud landing it had. I'm not quite sure what that was. But yet
Might have
again.
been asphalt, might have been off the top of somebody's car. You never know. Could have been off the top of the fence, too, back there.
So Pompey and Bonacorso. Dalton Pompey lays off for a walk.
Number 2, Connor Morrow.
And a great at-bat from Pompey as expected. And Connor Morrow coming back to the plate, and he walked and later scored in his first appearance, and with two men on and no one gone, and a whole heap of foot speed on the base path. And just a 2-run lead after Guelph kind of relinquished that 4-0 lead in the top of the second. We'll see if both LaRue and Pompey get inside the head of Bonacorso here. Morrow takes strike number 1 looking, and probably the right move if you're Connor, and with the way he's been hitting and slugging the baseball, happy, or not so unhappy rather, to be behind 0-1. LaRue takes off for third. He is in there safely. Pompey couldn't get the jump, but that is a strike on Moore to make it 0-2, but still no one gone and runners on the corners now, and Brando LaRue a small jog away from making it 5-2.
Great read by LaRue there to get that extra base.
A fantastic jump, and had he not had it, he would have been gunned down by Veu. We'll see if Pompey now steals second with no one covering it, and a heap of foot speed on 32 at first for Guelph. Bonacorso delivers. Morrow fouls it off to stay alive. And really, Pompey nor Morrow really a threat for a double play ball. So you'd wonder if that kind of changes the idea inside Dalton's head here on first base. And
He's definitely got a bigger lead than he did the first couple times up here.
as Morrow laces one to left, but without the distance, will fall in there. And Brando's going to test the arm. LaRue in there safely. Makes it 5-2. 2 gone here. 1 gone, rather, here in the bottom of the second. And Ethan Hammond with a chance to add to that as Dalton Pompey again remained at first base with that shallow fly ball to Anthony Bononuito, who threw in to home pretty quickly, but LaRue knew what he was doing all the way once that ball was in the air. Morrow with the sac fly. Hammond back to the plate. He is 0 for 1. And we'll see if Pompey decides to take off here now with 1 gone. And perhaps Bonacorso not thinking about him, or perhaps he is, as he saw Dalton Pompey inching towards second base and threw over to Josh Niles, who was able to get just enough of it to keep Pompey at bay. Malik Collymore will bat next. Dalton inches towards second, and Bonaccorso delivers to Hammond to make it 1-0.
Hammond with the sacrifice fly last time up and the RBI. Batting .341 on the year so far.
And yet, probably the most pleasant of all surprises here.
Oh, no question. No question. As far as we had some question as to who was going to play left field for most of the season, and Ethan Hammond just took the job over.
The answer came quite quickly. So that one missed.
DH spot tonight with Riley out of the lineup. Of course, Garton out of the lineup. Terrasano out of the lineup. And there is Barlis out, but Barlis is not injured. He just needed a couple days. His girlfriend flew into town and just wanted to spend some time with her, showing her some of the sights and sounds in the area.
1-1 the count now. Hammond lays off strike number 2. That one danced back in over the outside part of the plate. And again, with one gone, double play ball likely would be the normal scenario that Hamilton was aiming for, but Dalton Pompey takes off for second base. Hammond swings at it, pulls it to right field. That one will make Dalton retreat to first. And that is out number 2, as it looked like it might have a chance to fall in there, but unfortunately for the Royals, Lane Renault was all over it and hauled it in.
Any other ballpark in the IBL, that one's long gone. Here, unfortunately, that's a 393-foot flyout.
And with that thick, humid air that we were experiencing here tonight, likely another factor played in that ball coming and staying in the ballpark and coming down into the glove of Lane Renault.
As the viewers just got photobombed by Mayor Cam Guthrie as he walked past the camera.
Never tell the mayor where to walk.
Exactly.
As that one is inside.
By Cam.
On Cam.
Yep.
As that one runs inside in Collymore for ball number 1. Pompey remains at first after returning after that fly ball from Hammond, and that does not get the call. I think Collymore might have been expecting a loud strike call from the home plate umpire, but it did not come, so it's 2-0, and Collymore and the Royals are happy to take it. That one misses as well, so now it's 3-0, and with Pompey at first and 2 men gone, and Malik Collymore hitting the ball as well, he has of late, and a 5-2 lead. It's pretty much a coin flip as to what the call is here for the Royals batter, who fouls one off. That one likely looked like it was a bit inside, especially if you consider the reaction of Malik Collymore, who is playing third base yet again tonight. As Pompey likely will not think about taking second again. Bonaccorso delivers one in the dirt, and that is a free pass from Malik Collymore, and advances Dalton Pompey to second base, and J.D. Williams called back to the plate yet again.
Williams singled and had an RBI the first time up. He scored a run as well. 321 on the year. His average is going to bump up a little bit with that hit in the first inning.
And with a real chance to add to his RBI total with 2 good base runners aboard. That one misses inside or low or both for ball 1. The 1-0 coming, and Williams finds the hole through between Jean and the third baseman, Dalton Pompey, in there to score. Collymore a little late, coming around second to third, but not before Dalton Pompey crosses home to make it 6-2, and the inning has come to a close. The Royals 6, the Cards 2 after 2.
Yep, Osika.
Leading off the second baseman, number 20, Tristan Osika.
Tristan Osika will get it underway here to lead off the top of the third inning after Guelph restored their 4-run lead with 2 runs in the bottom of the second. Osika also due up along with Tyler Duncan and Josh Niles as he swings at the first pitch he sees for a leadoff base hit to center field.
Center fielder, number 55, Tyler Duncan.
I think the message from manager Jeff Lonsbury to his boys were, hey, he's going to be in the strike zone, so you might as well swing at it early here, and that's what they're doing. They're definitely jumping on the first 1 or 2 pitches of an at-bat now, not wasting time here.
And it's led to success as that is, again, a leadoff hit after Hamilton was able to bring 2 home in the top of the second. That one not in the strike zone, and Duncan lays off wisely to make it 1-0. Osika with a moderate lead at first. We'll see if he decides to take second. As Duncan slaps one to Morrow, over to LaRue for 1, over to Cush. Make it 2. 6-4-3 double play.
Another smooth turn by the Royals infield here, and Andrew Case is going to be buying some boys some beers tonight.
Number 30.
After that
Baseman Josh.
second inning, we'll see about that bar tab. However, one thing we haven't touched on quite enough, in my opinion, so far is the growing chemistry between Connor Morrow, Brandon LaRue, and whoever's at first. They make it look super smooth and easy as Case misses for ball 1. So quickly 2 gone after a leadoff single from Osika. And Josh Niles to the plate.
Didn't Niles come in here with a big full of head of blonde hair the first time through and hit a home run?
That is exactly why I had to make sure that was actually correctly Josh Niles.
I did the same thing. I did a double take. Yeah, it's the same guy. It just looks a lot different. Maybe he got home from college and Mom said, enough's enough. Off to the barbershop you
Pay
go.
for your haircut, which, hey, Mom, I need a haircut. My cell phone bill's overdue, and me, Scott Fraser, I need a haircut. 1-2 now coming from Case. Niles must have heard us as he laces one between Collymore and Morrow to find his way aboard with a 2-8 single.
Number 32, Josiah Devapalon.
And Josiah Devapalon back to the plate. He had a double in his first appearance and later scored. And this is, even though it's the 5, 6, 7 part of the order, it has been the heart and the heartbeat of the Cardinals lately tonight. And we'll see if Devapalon can add to his 1-for-1 total and find his way aboard again, as Roberts can't hang on to that one, but it is called strike number 1. Niles with a bit of a lunge at first to loosen up, and perhaps that is a tip of the hat, or hand rather, as Case fires another one in there to make it 0-2.
Of course, we got some celebration announcements to make as well throughout the ball game. Congratulations to longtime Royals fans Ralph Shapiro and Sandra Ellis. They officially tied the knot a week ago. And, of course, happy birthday wishes to our very own athletic therapist, Lacey Scott, as well. Hope you're having a great day, Lacey, and hope the boys are making your life a little easy tonight.
And as we peek over to the table, she is still working away on someone. So a thankless and tireless job, but Andrew Case making work and life tireless for the Cardinals with another strikeout as we are halfway through the third. Royals 6, Hamilton 2.
Custodio.
Bottom of the third inning here at Hastings Stadium. Claudio Custodio coming to the bat for the Royals. Royals up 6-2 on the Cardinals here on a very humid night here at Hastings Stadium.
Hot, sticky, and sweaty.
They're killing people off the seats before we go home.
Claudio lets that one run inside and gets out of the way, and no one's smiling more about him dancing out of the way of that baseball than Dino Ramel. Of course, Claudio, the strikeout king so far this season in the IBL, and the ace of all aces in terms of starting pitchers throughout the league, and well on his way to 200 Ks. And with a 6-0 record, I believe is now the count, is Mr. Untouchable at the mound, or on the mound and at the plate, ahead 2-0, and that one comes back in to make it 2-1. Noah
Batting 500 on the year. He goes out there and swings the stick like he's still an infielder. That one got him right in the back, though. That's not going to be nice.
That is what you don't want for your dual pitcher / power hitter to have to wear, but able to walk it off. He's a tough player and a tough man, Claudio Custodio. And Noah Roberts will be followed by Kyle Cush to round up the order that is due up for the Royals so far in this inning. And the thud that sound made, or if that's even English, the thud that was made after that ball hit Claudio in the back was a numbing one to the ears.
Looks like he's all right, though. He's stretching out at first base, and I wouldn't be surprised he takes off to second here.
As Roberts waves at strike number 1. And check over to first to make sure Claudio's on his toes, as he is. And back there safely. So obviously Claudio with a bit of a piece of the mind of the Hamilton pitcher, as that one cannot be hauled in by Niles. Claudio was on the move to get going, and that will be a
base hit.
And now runners at first and second for Kyle Cush.
The first baseman, number 5, Kyle Cush.
Yep. Kyle Cush back to the plate. 2 men on, no one gone here in the bottom of the third. And that looks like a blue bat to me in the hands of Kyle Cush.
It's like he's going to the Morrow special here.
Boro Moro.
Yep. They both went to Canisius College, so, maybe they still continually share everything here. At least when it comes to baseball stuff. This Cush calls for time here.
Cush calls time, steps back into the box, and Claudio checked at second. That one misses to make it 2-0.
Well, Scotty, I can tell by your reaction on your face when I said that you've never read the Robert Munch book, We Share Everything.
The only Robert Munch book that was ever read to me, because again, I did not turn 4,000 last week, was You'll Always Be My Baby.
Oh, goodness.
And I gave it to my mother on every Mother's Day since the time I was about 25, and she cries almost as much as I cry every time.
Well, Robert Munch, of course, the local author here in town. His son Andrew, I got the chance to coach in high school, actually. So Bob's a familiar face around this ballpark. I haven't seen him recently, but he's been out here many, many times.
2-1 coming. That one gets away from Vehu, but able to get enough of it to keep Claudio honest at second. But now 3-1 on Cush here. As we do have a pitching change, Gabe Braun into the game for Hamilton. It's to start here in the bottom of the third. Braun delivers the 3-1, and that will walk Cush to load the bases. And Brandel LaRue, who made a good amount of contact in his first appearance, with a real chance to inflate and balloon this Royals lead that is already 4. No one gone, bases juiced. For the number 9 hitter that is much more dangerous than your everyday 9 hitter in the Royals lineup. Claudio at third, Roberts at second, Cush at first, Brando at the dish. LaRue swings at the first one he sees and pops it high to center, but not deep.
Infield fly called on the play, and LaRue's retired for the first out of the inning.
And that one will be out number 1 as Claudio playing some games over, showing just how limber he still feels. A few mind games with the Cardinals outfielders who weren't biting on the joke. And Dalton Pompey back to the plate. 2 runs scored so far for the former Blue Jay. One gone now, and the bases remain loaded. And the first time that Braun has seen Pompey tonight, so perhaps Dalton with a bit of a edge here in this matchup. And a few fans cheering on Pompey as we get set for the first pitch of the at-bat. That is a called strike. And again, a borderline one, and perhaps it could have gone either way, but as Neil mentioned earlier in this game, perhaps held to a higher standard is Dalton Pompey from the home plate umpires that we have witnessed so far this season. Pompey loosens, sets, as does Braun. The 0-1 misses high and outside for ball 1 to even the count at 1-1 with 1 gone. And don't forget, Claudio Custodio at third base can read a pitcher's body movements just about as well as anyone. So any sort of miscommunication, he is off with the wind as that one goes inside. Bayou hangs on to it, but the count now 2-1.
Royals have got a busy week ahead of themselves anyways, or a busy weekend. Friday night against Brantford, Saturday night here against the Welland Jackfish, and then Sunday afternoon, perhaps the last chance for Toronto fans to see Sean Riley in the regular season as the Riley Roadshow heads into Christie Pitts one final time in the regular season anyways, on Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock.
One would assume if all cards fall the way they should in terms of standings, which is a rarity to say the least, likely meet each other in the playoffs, but that is a long ways away, and a lot of baseball between now and then, and a 3-1 count coming. Braun to Pompey. Pompey fouls it off and runs the count full. 3-2. And as we've seen so many times so far this season, Neil, the Royals really don't want to leave another 3 men stranded. Small villages, as you put it so wisely a few games ago, made life a lot more difficult. They ended up pulling out the win in that ball game, but it could have been a much bigger gap as that one will walk Claudio Custodio home, and Dalton Pompey is aboard. And Claudio, again, always one for some entertainment, decides to step over the bag and toe tap it to make it 7-2.
Yep.
And Connor Morrow, Captain Serious,
Number 2, Connor Morrow,
knows exactly what is on his plate as he makes his way to the plate here with a bases loaded 1-out situation and a 5-run lead. A real chance to maybe let it swing and let it fly if you get the pitch you're waiting on.
The manager, Jeff Lonsbury, coming out to take a walk here to just buy some more time as they're signaling down to the bullpen in Cardinals land there to get somebody else throwing in a hurry here.
Is it too cheap and easy to call it the Cardinals' nest?
Maybe the bird's nest, something like that. Who knows? The Cardinals' roost. Who knows? It all works.
And a full-blown conference on the Hamilton mound here. Doesn't look like a pitching change will be made. Gabe Braun will stay in the ball game for Hamilton. But maybe just a, hey, this guy's pretty good that's coming to the plate for Guelph. So a bases loaded, 1 out opportunity for Connor Morrow, who is swinging the hottest of hot bats here, and if not from Lee Cullymore, might have been the player of the game a few times so far this season. Swings at the first pitch, he seizes and uppercuts it. Infield fly call. Louis Jean makes no mistake for out number 2. And that has been the one, perhaps Achilles heel of Morrow at the plate, is that eagerness to swing at that first pitch and try to make something super special happen super quickly.
Hitter, number 28, Ethan Hammond.
So 2 gone for Ethan Hammond, who, again, with the bases loaded, has a real chance to inflate this 7-2 Royals lead to something even larger, with Noah Roberts happy to leave third base and come home here in this 3rd inning. Braun delivers to Hammond, who takes strike number 1.
Hammond's got a sacrifice fly and flown out to right field so far.
So making some good contact. That one comes inside and
Hits Hammond on the either the knee or the stomach. I'm not sure which one. It bounced off, and Bayou had to try to get to that one, but it redirected off Hammond after all.
that explains exactly what I was trying to figure out, because it looked like Bayou was getting across and it doubled back towards the glove side, and Hammond takes a
Number 35,
ball on the inside for the RBI the hard way. And Malik Collymore now with Guelph with an 8-2 lead has a chance to drive in 1, 2, 3, 4, and perhaps really blow this game wide open. And if there's anyone in this lineup that is willing and able to do so lately, it is the man at the plate, the third baseman for Guelph, Malik Collymore. That one inside, and hard to swing at anything that is that close to your face for 1-0.
Collymore, of course, was drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals and stayed there as regulation for quite some time. So he lines this one into left for a base hit. Looks like it's going to score 2 as well, as Pompey's on his horse and trotting on in home is giving Collymore 2 more RBIs for the total. And it's now 10-2.
And that is just a smart piece of hitting from the Royals' third baseman, who we've seen try to swing maybe out of his boots or overswing a little few times so far this season. But a great pull to left field to score 2 and make it 10-2 as J.D. Williams makes his way back to the plate.
Williams 2 for 2 with 2 singles, a run scored, and 2 RBIs on the night already. It's the 3rd inning, and he's already come up for his 3rd at bat.
Could be a long night for the Cardinals and a stat padding night for the Royals if this continues, as that one is inside for ball number 1. You assume you'll see that strike zone expand if this continues on for too long. The 1-0 coming. Chopped to Jean at short. On to second for out number 3, but not before the Royals add another 4 to their total. It is 10-2 Guelph. Leading off for the Hamilton Cardinals, number 6, Lane Renault here in the top of the 4th inning, and Hamilton looking to
The right fielder, Lane
evaporate an 8-run deficit through 3 innings. Guelph has been all over the baseball. 4 runs in the first, 2 in the second, and 4 in the bottom of the third as Renault with a leadoff digger to make it 10-3.
Lane Renault, I take it back when you're saying you had to light a spark tonight. Don't take it literally next time.
And that is a feel-good moment for Lane Renault, who has been playing in right field so far and has made some decent plays out in the outfield, and he has been perhaps their brightest spark, Neil.
The left field, number 38.
So now 10-3 as Emily Guerrero has come into the game for Andrew Case to start this inning. So not a great start for Guerrero, but now ahead 0-1 on Anthony Bononuito. I will always stutter through that name. And that one fouled off to make it 0-2. The 0-2 coming from Guerrero. Low outside for ball 1. That one pulled to first base. Kyle Cush gets in front of it and decides to chuck on over to Guerrero. Scored a 3-1 out, number 1 for the Royals.
Great play by Cush to stick with it, and great job by Guerrero to get over and cover the base, as sometimes the pitchers will even forget to do that in those situations.
And in my mind, I was worried about a collision or a bad underhanded throw, and neither of those things came to fruition, as that was a perfectly executed 3-1. And we have one gone here as Sean Petner comes back to the plate for the Cards. Guerrero deals a strike to get his night started against Petner, who is playing third base yet again. He's been a mainstay at the hot corner for Hamilton so far this season and batting well over 300, as Neil mentioned. Lays off ball number 1 to even the count at 1-1. Swings at the 1-1, and Cush again this time calls his own number for out number 2.
The catcher, number 18, Jeremy Valou.
Jamie Valou coming back to the plate as well now. So batting 9th, this is a guy who can really make contact with the baseball and really kind of help turn that lineup over for the Cardinals, who, if Valou can find his way aboard, will be followed by Louis Jean and Tristan Osica, as well as Tyler Duncan. So that 1-2-3 part of this order for the Cardinals, fantastic. And with Valou batting 9th, it always gives them an extra opportunity to see a pitcher. That one misses the glove of Roberts and misses the strike zone for ball number 1. Guerrero sets, deals, delivers the 1-0 that makes it 2-0. The 2-0 coming from Guerrero. Swung on and fell behind the grandstands to make it 2-1. And with Valou being such a seasoned catcher and baseball player, knows exactly what's coming next as he swings at one to right field. JD on his horse. That one falls in there as he tried to make the shoelace string catch to no avail. That is a 2-out double for Jeremy Valou, and that brings Louis Jean back to the plate.
12, Louis Jean.
Williams just couldn't get his feet underneath him fast enough there, and gave it a valiant attempt down there, but just ran out of room.
Would have been a fantastic catch had he been able to come up with it. Unfortunately for the Royals and Guerrero, for naught, as Valou finds his way to second, and Jean, a dangerous hitter, back to the plate. Strike 1 thrown from Emily Guerrero.
John 0 for 2. He grounded out to the third baseman and reached on the fielder's choice in the second inning.
That one chopped to Morrow, who gets in front of it and guns him out at first to Kyle Cush.
Wow, what a play.
And we will just let the fans talk. Out number 3, 6-3 score. The Royals lead 10-3 halfway through 4.
Welcome back to Hastings Stadium. Bottom of the fourth inning here as the Royals lead the Hamilton Cardinals 10-3, and Drew Manprize takes over on the hill for the Cardinals, the third pitcher of the night for the Cardinals, as they're just looking for solutions to get out of innings here.
Yeah, it's been a long 3 innings pitch for Hamilton so far, and Claudio Custodio back to the plate to lead off.
I'd love to say the bottom of the order is probably a good solace here, but the Royals' bottom of the order has been pretty hot and heavy tonight.
6 is Claudio, 7 Roberts, 8 Cush, 9 LaRue. All have made contact so far.
Made contact and scored runs.
And Claudio trying to do both of those things with one swing of the bat.
Waiting for the chirps from the dugout, but we don't hear them up here. That was a Herculean swing for a little tiny guy like Custodio.
We'll see if he goes back to the well on this one on Manprize. He has to be feeling pretty good after that result.
Yep.
Claudio swings hard at the second pitch. He sees a hot shot off the shoulder of Petner, who couldn't juggle it into his glove and gives himself a hard time. But what a fantastic job by Sean Petner to get in front of that baseball.
I'm pretty sure Claudio Custodio just made eye contact with me here, looking at the scoreboard, making sure he gets a hit on that one. That was a bullet hit to third, and of course you're going to get a single on that one.
Yeah, Petner doing just about everything he could, or anyone could, to take that hit away, but that will be scored a leadoff single for Claudio Custodio, who Noah Roberts is to follow here. And Roberts swings at the first pitch. He sees from Manprize, and there's opposite field to left. That will fall in there. And they call time as it misses the outside of the wall, and both players will advance 2 bases, which is an unfortunate result for Noah Roberts' RBI count, as that would have easily scored Claudio from
The
first.
first baseman, number 5, Kyle Kush.
The unfortunate thing about Hastings Stadium is there's no fence on the sidelines here. Out of play is just the outside of the track, and unfortunately it skipped once in left and then bounced again one time out, and it was out of play.
Yeah, that warning track that turns into a cart path, if you will, cross sport analogy, and kind of caught speed off of it and went well out of play. And we're not going to make any outfielder chase the ball around the wall as Kyle Kush comes to the plate with 2 men in scoring position. No one gone here in the bottom of the 4th, and a 10-3 lead against Man Prize. That one high for ball number 1. And the good news for Royals fans, Lacey Scott, the birthday girl and athletic therapist of the Royals, down there working away on none other than Justin and Terrasano. So that means that quad is well on its way to healing, and he should be back in just about no time as he's getting it loosened up. Obviously not tonight, but could be within the next 10 days or so.
And that's a fair assessment. Usually those quads take a little while to heal and everything else, and with much, Lacey's probably been giving it a serious workout.
And regardless, with a 10-3 lead and a borderline third pitch that is called a strike, some of the Hastings crowd does not agree, and it was borderline at best.
Never a shortage of umpires here at Hastings Stadium, that's for sure.
And again, that's what you get with volunteering. As that one is called ball 3, so 3-1. So 3-1 coming from Man Prize on Kush. Swings and misses to run the count full. And Kush will likely choke up on the bat here with the count full. No one gone and 2 men in scoring position. Protect the zone, but lay off anything that is nowhere near it. Kush swings at that pitch and slices it foul down the third baseline into the left field and beer garden. Out of play, and we'll do it again. Drew Manprize getting his work in here on Kyle Kush. Kush again followed by Brandon LaRue, who has yet again been a bit of a nightmare as the 9-hitter for opposing pitchers, even again tonight. The 3-2 coming. Kush slices that one over the Royals dugout and foul, and perhaps into the ice rink or into the parking lot.
Kush currently batting 11 for 51 or 215. No home runs, 5 RBIs so far in the season.
And a guy who can really make contact with the ball, plays in the NCAA, able to turn that around here with some contact. Just missed that one as he fouls it straight behind home plate and off the top of the grandstand. And that will be a freebie for a freezy from one of the young fans that trades it in.
Man, that sounds like a good idea right about now. Lots of freezies.
Just have to get out there and catch some foul balls, Neil.
Well, it's kind of hard from up here.
Count remains full, 3-2. Again, no one gone, 2 men in scoring position.
Tell you, the only guy that likes the weather like this is the ice cream man. And even then, it's a pretty fast sail.
Kush goes to short. Jean didn't realize it wasn't a force and tried to get Roberts at third, but now he'll get him in the tag in the rundown. But Kush advances to second and scores Claudio Custodio. So we'll see how that one ends up being scored for out number 1.
It'll be a fielder's choice with an RBI.
And Kyle Kush is at second for Brandon LaRue.
Roberts gets put out 6-5, 6-4.
6-5-6-4 put it.
Yeah.
And 5 seconds in between there.
Yep.
As Brando LaRue back to the plate with Kyle Kush at second. And with the way Brando's hit the ball so far tonight, see if he can bring Kyle home. with a decently high and deep hit ball. As that one is out of the zone for ball number 1, and Dalton Pompey getting loose just outside of the on-deck circle as he is due up next. 1-0 coming from Drew Manprize inside on Brando LaRue. 2-0. That one comes back in and dances over the outside part of the plate to make it 2-1. Tristan Osica making sure Drew Manprize knows exactly where he is out there at second, smacking his glove a few times, especially with the man well off the base. And Cush was thinking about it, but Veilleux got in front of the baseball and kept Cush honest at the 2 bag. So the count is now 3-1, and Brando LaRue takes a deep exhale and will look to just try to find a hole here in the outfield, which, if I was buying real estate with that thought in mind, I'd say between center and right would be your best choice. And Brando
Brando made a Cardinal rookie mistake here and just threw that one away a little too early.
Exactly. That was ball number 4 until that bat went.
If you're Brando now, you pretty much have to swing at this next one, or the umpire is going to have the pleasure of ringing you up on wherever it is. You can't show up an umpire here, even unintentionally.
Unintentionally is for sure the fact, in an 11-3 lead. Unless, of course, it's that pitch that Drew Manprize might be saying, don't show me up either. So Brando off to first on a walk, and Dalton Pompey to the plate. And you want to talk about a guy who doesn't get the favorable calls at the dish. We'll see if the repercussions are doled out on the former Blue Jay, Dalton Pompey.
Pompey has reached on an error, scored a run in the first inning, walked in the second inning, scored a run, walked with the bases loaded, got an RBI, and scored a run. His 4th at bat here in the 4th inning.
So he's 0 for 0 with 3 runs scored and a few RBIs.
Yeah, 0 for 1 actually, because the error on the.
Correct. Sorry. Excuse me, and that's why Neil's here and I'm standing outside of the booth in the parking lot. That one does go Pompey's way for a 1-0 count to lead off his 4th at bat.
Cardinals among the youngest teams in the IBL, and of course now even with the veteran Justin Gideon no longer here, they've definitely increased the lowered their age anyways as well.
As Dino Ramel makes a comical barehanded swipe at that ball to get in and out of the way.
That was a kind of a Roger Dorn Olay down there.
360-degree foot swing on his toe tips.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think the camera quite caught that one, but yeah.
Would have been comedy for everyone at home as well, as count now 1-1. That one stays outside and is called ball 2, and wasn't quite sure which way that one was going to go, as it was in the territory of being strike 2, but Pompey laid off, and it was called ball 2. So
I would be absolutely surprised if Pompey does not lead the league in walks by the end of the year.
He has definitely done a good job of making pitchers miss and laying off borderline pitches. But again, as we've mentioned, definitely not getting the favorable former pro kind of
respect, calls, maybe, who knows?
Correct. Perfectly said. So now 3-1. And Dalton doesn't wait on it, and he does get the respect in the 5-pitch walk there. And
shortstop, number 2, Connor Morrow.
Connor Morrow with a 8-run cushion, and the bases loaded and 1 man gone. I believe this is the second scenario he's had unfold this way so far tonight. We'll likely try to better his first experience, which was a first pitch pop fly that was easily hauled in.
He's walked and scored a run, got a sacrifice fly, and popped out to the shortstop. Like you mentioned, was the last time up on that first pitch in the third inning.
So we'll see if he lays off one here just to see what Drew Manprize is chucking. Cush at third. LaRue at second and Pompey at first. Morrow back to the plate. That one low and outside for ball number one. As the young fans here at Hastings Stadium do the math, if bases are loaded in an 11-3 game, and Morrow looks at a pitch high and outside for ball number two. Ethan Hammond loosening up the designated hitter in the 3-hole tonight, so that left fielder that we praised oh so many times so far this season will likely be up next. Manprize behind 2-0 delivers the third pitch of the at-bat. Morrow chops it foul behind himself and just outside of the shins of Ethan Hammond. So now the count is 2-1. And Kyle Cush will be 90 feet away from home here if Connor Morrow can, or closer than that if Connor Morrow can make contact. And as he does between Petner and Jean, that'll be a single and an RBI as Kyle Cush scores the Royals' 12th run of the ball game. It's 12-3 Guelph. Bases remain loaded, and Ethan Hammond coming on back up to the dish for another serving of dinner. His fourth go at it so far in this huge lead for the Royals. And another small gathering on the mound for the Hamilton Cardinals.
There was some activity down in the bullpen, but I'm not sure if he's ready yet or not, but it might be time for the hook here on Manprize anyways, just not having a good night.
However, Manprize a lefty, Hammond a lefty, you'd assume that maybe this is the way you can get out of it with a lazy ground ball. Louis Jean able to turn one into 2 outs real quick himself.
Looks like he's staying out there anyways for the time being. More of a pep talk, just, hey, can you get me a ground ball here? We'll turn it somehow. Cardinals have assigned, of course, I think it's 6 guys in the last 4 or 5 days, if I read the transaction log correctly. A couple pitchers, and then our catcher.
So perhaps just no matter what, how much they run through, it's just chances to get some innings of work in. And maybe that's why they've been so quick to pull the trigger on the hook.
Yep.
But Hammond to the plate, bases loaded, 1 gone, and Brando LaRue 90 feet away from making it 13-3. Veilleux able to stay in front of that one, and that misses low in the dirt to make it 1-0. And Ethan Hammond looking for his second long shot of the season. And really blow the doors off this one. Slices that one down the left field line and well foul to make the count 1-1.
And with a sacrifice fly, a fly out to right field, a hit by pitch with an RBI as well.
So again, adding to that impressive stat line again tonight. And 1-1 with 1 gone. Flares one over the head of Jean. That'll score Brando LaRue. And just a bit of small ball from the Royals to give themselves a 10-run lead by way of Ethan Hammond's 1-out RBI single. And Malik Collymore back to the plate, and with his jump off the page at you games of late, looking to just give you another one to scare the bejesus out of you as you've turned the page.
I'm running out of adjectives to describe his performances in some of these write-ups. I'm just like, yeah, he did it again, whatever else, or another stellar night. Gonna have to come up with some new words.
Thesaurus.com is how I learned how to read. as that is strike number one. And yeah, if you guys haven't checked out Neil Sriwasa's write-ups on the Royals website, also shared on Facebook, they're a fantastic read and full of adjectives and a lot of other. Is pronouns a word or
Pronouns?
Not
Pronouns?
pronouns. I knew I was looking.
Pronouns? Okay.
I knew I was painting myself into a corner there, didn't I?
Scotty, some of your English teachers are rolling over going, oh, my God.
I think they've done that too many times already.
Yes.
As the count's now 1-1. Proverbs. Swings and misses at strike two.
Well, the Royals have definitely gone station to station now here, and unless Collingwood hits it off a fence, you're going to just see guys taking one base at a time here. Or over it. Collingwood swings and misses on that pitch. And he'll go down on strikes for the second out.
Number 9, J.D. Williams.
It's a 50-50 number.
50-50.
2 away now.
With J.D. Williams with a chance now, with the bases still loaded and a 10-run lead, you'd assume J.D. will wait on a pitch he likes. And that would not be the one, as it is low at the shoestrings for ball number one.
So yesterday in baseball history, a young man named Scott Diamond from the Royal City made his Major League Baseball debut against the Cleveland Indians.
And had quite the outing, if I'm not mistaken.
6 1/3 innings, allowed 3 runs, he had 1 strikeout.
Did it the hard way.
He did it the hard way, yes.
But I do recall that, and I recall even non-baseball fans here from Guelph tuning in and being overtly excited about it. And why not?
Well, he was the first guy in 140 years to crack the Major League starting lineup from the Royal City, of course. The great Robert Emsley, the first one. Emsley back in 1883 pitched for the Baltimore Orioles, but of course, Emsley went on to more fame as an umpire. Maybe some infamous plays as well. Of course, the infamous Burnhead Merkel play, forever attached to Emsley's name. Of course, Emsley has the field in St. Thomas named after him as well.
As Josh Niles does a bit of a loop-de-loop and makes the catch in foul territory for out number 3. The Royals score 3 more runs in this inning to make it 13-3. We are through 4 innings from Hastings Stadium. Tristan Osika to lead off the top half of the 5th inning, and it starts with 1 if you're the Hamilton Cardinals, and you'll need 10 of those ones to make this game a tie. Osika batting second in the Cardinals lineup yet again, followed by Tyler Duncan and Josh Niles. in this half inning. An 0-1 coming from Guerrero on Osika, pulled well foul for an 0-2 count. And an interesting dynamic that we've seen from Dino Ramel in terms of deploying his pitching staff. And Emily Guerrero seems to be benefiting from coming in with quite the lead.
I think it just gives them a little bit more time to warm up here, and I guess that one
Runs inside and makes contact with Osika for a hit by pitch. And a leadoff walk for the Cardinals the hard way. And Tyler Duncan, one of the most dangerous and violent hitters, if you will, in this Cardinals lineup, now making his way back to the plate with Osika at first. Guerrero deals. Duncan swings and fouls it off, and quite aggressively behind home plate, and just missed Noah Robertson, the home plate umpire, and a quick turnaround and a oopsie daisy from Duncan.
they gave the camera a little spin too when they hit that one off the screen.
And I don't think it made the full 360 unless it made it a 1080 or change, because it is not sitting. So it's an 0-2 count now coming from Guerrero as the Hastings hands come together. The 0-2 swung on and pulled down the third baseline for a base hit. Osika on his way to third. Claudio picks that one up and right on the inside part of the glove in the sweet spot of Emily Guerrero. Custodio rather, shows you his foot speed, agility, and his ability.
Little long toss there.
A one-hopper into his pitcher's glove from a turnaround throw that might not make the highlight reel, but man, oh man, that was fun to watch. So now
Josh Niles now the batter.
Number 30, Josh Niles.
time called as not quite sure why.
Something I said.
That one misses low and outside from Guerrero to make it 1-0. And some baseballs being chucked behind behind the outfield wall. That one popped foul, but Collymore might have a bead on it. No, as it goes ding dong off the top of the Royals dugout for strike number 1. So this crowd from Hastings Stadium that started out, the gate said 1,820, is now down to about 1,000 after a 10-run gap here, just about halfway through the ballgame. That one fouled off by Niles, make it 1-2. No one gone, 2 men in scoring position for Hamilton, but they'll need a bunch more if they want to win this game. Niles swings and fouls that one off. Excuse me, that is a strikeout and tag out for out number 1.
The designated hitter, number 32, Josiah Devaplan.
And Josiah Devaplan is back to the plate.
It's like manager Dino Romero is coming out to check on
Noah Roberts, who might have worn one in an awkward spot. So a slight pause here at Hastings with one gone, and again 2 runners in scoring position for Hamilton, who are having some words with the umpires as the staff decides to give Roberts a few pitch and catches to make sure that it is indeed okay for him to continue. The first pitch of the at-bat is a strike on Josiah, so 0-1. The 0-1 coming, swung on and fouled. Well out of play.
Looks like it's a different pitch hitter, but I can't tell.
Excuse me, it is not number 32. It is number 13 to my eyesight, and that would be Bryn Sanford. And that one does not get the call, and a few of the Royals loyals don't appreciate it.
Sanford pinch hits in this inning here.
And that one breaks the bat of Sanford, and will keep him alive, however. The bat may no longer exist, but his at-bat certainly does. Sanford gets a new piece of lumber and makes his way back to the batter's box with just one gone, and the infield playing with everything kind of in front of them. Both LaRue and Morrow quite back. That evens the count at 2-2 as Guerrero and Roberts not quite on the same page. The 2-2 coming. Swung on and another broken bat. Sanford
just cost himself about $260 on that at bat, and neither died a hero.
As he is thrown out at first for out number 2, and Lane Renault, who has been a bright spot in the lineup for Hamilton so far, is back to the plate with 2 men on and 2 gone in the top of the 5th inning.
Renault's got a double, a home run, and 2 RBIs, responsible for 2 of the 3 runs the Cardinals have scored tonight.
Perhaps bright, not quite the right adjective, but fantastic at the dish so far, and the first time he'll see Emily Guerrero in this ball game. Swings and misses at strike number 1.
Actually, Guerrero was the first batter Renault saw, actually, or Renault was the first batter Guerrero got.
So that is the first strike that Emily Guerrero has thrown that wasn't hit out of the ballpark, as that is why Neil is here to look over me. And time called yet again.
Man, the Hastings is faithful all over the umpires tonight.
As per usual, but not usually with a 10-run gap.
Yep.
As Renault pumps one high and deep to center. And in the park it stays as Pompey may have got a glove on it. That'll score
Renault's
1.
Going for 3 here.
2, and Lane Renault has himself a 2-out triple with deuce RBI to add to it. So Lane Renault responsible for, now if my math is correct, 3 of the 5 runs.
He's now a single shy of the cycle here, so
Not bad at a 10-5 or 13-5 ball game, with not much to speak about in terms of positivity if you are the Cardinals from the Steel City.
some nights you just got to go out and pad your own stats, and this is definitely one for Renaud.
So Emily Guerrero might be having nightmares of a guy named Lane all evening long, even if this ball game does end up in a landslide for the Royals. Lane Renault has been all over what Emily Guerrero is throwing. That one fouled off to even the count at 1-1. And Sean Petner, who, again, is no slouch at the dish, is no longer in the ball game. He is going to be replaced as that ball was hit to right field. Now it will score Lane Renault, so add that to his stats for the evening.
Third baseman, number 5, Sean Petner.
And in place of Sean Petner, now batting for the Hamilton Cardinals, is a player that we don't seem to have on the scorecard. It is, excuse me, it is. I do find it in the pitching hole. It's Mike Bonacarasso.
Now batting for Hamilton, number 7, Mike Bonacuzzo.
And I believe the umpire had the same kind of confusion as I did, so I feel slightly less silly as he had to check the game sheet to make sure that he was indeed a legal player. And if I was half certain before, I'm certainly certain now.
His name's not that long, so I don't know what happened.
Must have 2 number 7s on the card or something here.
Doesn't look like Mike Bonacarasso.
39.
Number 39 is actually the player who is wearing number 7.
Shouldn't that be an out though? If the line card is on? No.
What name do you have?
And yet, we will digress and let it roll as it's 13-6. Man at first, 2 gone here.
I'm going to guess it's Nick Davies, but I could be wrong because he's the only one with no number on the back of his jersey.
Let's go
there.
with Nick Davies is behind the count, 0-1 on Emily Guerrero. That one fouled into the parking lot. 0-2. And Jeremy Veilleux still wearing his catcher's pads on his lower half, at least, in the on-deck circle, which is maybe the first time I've ever seen that in my life. Davies behind 0-2, or 1-2 rather. 1 at first. Guerrero deals and swung on and fouled off apparently and not able to be scooped up by Roberts. The 1-2 coming yet again from Guerrero on Davies. Delivers. Back up the middle. Morrow on it. Makes the unassisted toe tap at second for out number 3. The Hamilton Cardinals find a way to score 3 runs here in the top of the 5th inning. It is 13-6 halfway through 5.
Fans, we invite the kids to run the bases at the end of the
Claudio Custodio will lead it off in what all of a sudden isn't that big of a margin for the Royals in their lead. 13-6 into the bottom half of the 5th inning. As mentioned, Claudio will get it underway. He'll be followed by Noah Roberts and Kyle Cush. And a new pitcher into the ball game for the Hamilton Cardinals, Neil.
David Ortiz, not to be confused with Big Poppy, who's making his Hall of Fame acceptance speech later this week in Cooperstown, New York. Definitely not the same guy.
Hop, skip, and a jump between Hastings Stadium and Cooperstown if you're David Ortiz. So perhaps maybe a miscommunication or a false identity, but David Ortiz on the mound for Hamilton and gets the call for a strike number 1 and to get ahead of Claudio Custodio in the count. And as mentioned, also going on tonight, the MLB All-Star Game. As Claudio gets a hold of one, but well ahead of it to pull it foul for strike number 2. And a few Blue Jays involved in that All-Star Game, including Vladdy Guerrero and Alejandro Kirk, as well as Santiago Espinal and the young pitcher Alec Manoah.
And don't forget Jordan Romano, who got added late Sunday morning to take over for Garrett Cole.
And Garrett Cole, a guy that the Blue Jays have had the number of late, as Claudio flares one to shallow center, and that is between just about everybody for a leadoff single. And Noah Roberts comes back to the plate yet again.
Roberts 3 for 3, a pair of doubles, a single, and a run scored.
And the perennial all-star for the hotter-than-a-pistol Silver Creeks has been translating that here into the IBL for the Royals behind home plate for Dino Romel's team. And obviously the Guelph Silver Creeks looking at perhaps a run at the national championship quite shortly as Roberts swings, waves goodbye to strike number 1.
That elimination tournament's always been something that it's always eluded the Silver Creeks over the years. Be interesting to see it. Of course, they won the national championship in 2006, the year they hosted the championship. So,
and the way they performed in tournaments so far this year would lead one to believe that they have to beat the favorite.
Or at least in the top 10 anyways, as far as the pool and the draw goes and everything else. But that tournament is definitely a grind. It starts on Thursday, and it's going to go all weekend long.
That one misses to make it 1-2, and Roberts laid off a good pitch from Ortiz, and that just shows the eye of the young catcher for the Royals. Kyle Cush loosening up on deck. He will round out who is due up to start the inning for Guelph. So Roberts fouls one off, and that is a strikeout for out number 1, and frustrated within himself is the young catcher, but Kyle Cush, who put Drew Manprize through a marathon and a half in his other previous at-bat, coming back to the plate.
Cush 0 for 2 on the contest. Got a pair of runs scored. Reached base on a walk and a fielder's choice and got an RBI last time up.
Ortiz deals outside and high for ball number 1. And again, with as lopsided as this ball game has seemed, it is still just a 6-run game, 7-run game, as my math does not commute sometimes. As Cush goes back up the middle to advance Claudio to second. And Claudio, again, no short on comedy to make it seem as if he might think about taking off to make it runners off the corners. Brando LaRue back to the plate yet again. Men on first and second with 1 gone. (13-6) the score, which, by the way, is a 7-run gap, just so we were all sure of it, including myself. So LaRue, if he can find a way aboard or avoid a double play ball, will be followed by Dalton Pompey. Ortiz deals. LaRue pulls the swing back well in time and That is appealed to no avail to make it 2-0. Ortiz checks Claudio at second. Delivers to LaRue, who slices one high and behind home plate and behind the grandstand. Again, a free freezy for a young fan who retrieves the ball and turns it in. Two-one coming from Ortiz on LaRue. Swings and skies one to the infield over to first base. It's Josh Niles underneath it. And Kyle Kush kind of did his best turtle move. Get out of the way, and Niles made the catch for out number 2. Dalton Pompey back to the plate.
The center fielder, number 32, Dalton Pompey.
Pompey enters the record book here tonight. Well, I guess the score sheet anyways. 5th inning, 0 for 1. Reached on base on an error in the first inning, walked in the second, walked in the third, walked in the fourth. Wonder what he's doing in the 5th.
Well, again, if I was a betting man, I would say anything but walk because it's a long shot. So fresh count coming to Pompey from Ortiz. Misses, ball 1. So 1-0. Claudio Custodio at second. And a bit of a check and timeout based on confusion, perhaps. We'll slow this game down just by a hair as we are set to go. And Pompey fouls one off to even the count at 1-1. Count even on Pompey, and for those of you the thousands and thousands of you that have decided to watch this ball game over the MLB All-Star game, as Pompey fouls one into the glove of Veilleux for strike number 2. It is now 3-2 for the American League All-Stars after a 3-run fourth for the AL, who fell behind quickly 2-0 in the first inning, and Alec Manoah again a part of that ball game. I believe he has come and gone. One, two, 2 on, 2 gone. And that is a called strike number 3 on Dalton Pompey.
Line score that inning, no runs, 2 hits, no errors.
Back at Hastings Stadium for the top of the 6th inning. Jeremy Veilleux to lead things off for the Cardinals as they trail the Guelph Royals 13-6. I'm Neil Sherwaswa, joined by Scotty Frazier. Scotty has stepped out to see a man about a horse. Hopefully the horse has got a name this time, though. It's the first pitch to Veilleux, misses for a ball. Very hot and muggy night. A small breeze has slowly crept in here at Hastings Stadium, and then it just suddenly died. Second I mentioned that, as the flag in center field has now gone silent again. As Veilleux hits this one down the left field line, but that's going to hook foul. And the count is 1-1. As Veilleux fouls that one off, and the count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes here. Slow roller going to get through the hole, and Veilleux's got himself another hit to go along with the double he's had earlier.
Left shortstop, number 12, Luis Jean.
Luis Jean, the batter now, as the Cardinals order flips back to the top of the order.
So as we've seen so many times in this ballpark so far, Neil, don't go anywhere. 13-6 and a leadoff single for Veilleux. And the top of the order coming up for Hamilton could cut in that lead even further as they held the Royals off the scoreboard for the very first time in this ball game in the last half inning.
Small victories if you're the Hamilton Cardinals. Not a lot's gone right of late for the Cardinals. Has been struggling in the win column anyways, but who knows? It might be the night they turn the page here, or at least get things going in the right direction.
And teams like Guelph are in a dogfight for the top half, or the top spot, rather, in the IBL. Hate to lose to teams like Hamilton, who are losers of 9 straight, I believe, and have just really had their struggles, especially lately, after starting not so cold, but really ran into a world of trouble lately. And this is about the time in sports when teams like Hamilton spoil the party for teams like the Royals, who are trying to blow up the balloons, as Kyle Cush makes a catch in foul territory for out number 1.
Second baseman, number 20, Tristan Osika.
And if you go back and look at the Cardinals' schedule as well, the schedule makers have not done them any favors. They've played a lot of games against Welland, a lot of games against London, a lot of games against Toronto and Barrie as well. So, you know, they haven't really had an easy part of the schedule of late either.
And with Guelph having proximity in the heart of the IBL in terms of geography, as I was going to say geometry, as that one is fouled directly behind home plate and into the netting. Guelph kind of has that geographical advantage, being closer to just about everybody, but not close to anyone but Kitchener. But with Hamilton facing London or your Barrie or anyone but really Welland or Brantford, it's a bit of a nightmare of a travel schedule for the Cardinals.
And no question it makes a lot of late nights, and you know, a lot of guys that work shift work and everything else probably can't make the road games.
And as we touched on back on Saturday night, the Brantford Red Sox, who played, I believe it was 6 games in 7 days or something ridiculous.
Yeah, a lot of rainouts,
and that is the nature of the beast in a outdoor summer schedule that demands 42 games being played before the postseason, and Brantford having, I believe, 6 and 7 nights, and 5 of those or 6 of those were on the road. And that is, like Neil said, a lot of these guys have full-time jobs on the side of this to attend to, and not to mention the family that is missing you from home. As Guerrero is even in the count here at 2-2. Swung on and threw it second over to Morrow for the force out, and out number 2.
As Osika reaches on a fielder's choice.
The center fielder, number 55, Tyler Duncan.
And Tyler Duncan will follow Osika, who, again, this part of the order for the Cards have been the most loud and productive so far in this game. And as much as this seems to be a sure thing for the Royals, again, it is just a 7-run lead, which just is kind of a odd term to use in this scenario, but it was once 13-3.
Well, the old adage, especially in this stadium, is no lead is safe in the intercounty, so you got to keep hitting the hits when you can.
Absolutely, making sure you get those sure outs when you can as well defensively, as that one misses to even the count at 1-1.
Duncan's hitting to a pair of double plays. He doubled and scored a run in the 5th inning. He's hit the ball hard all the time tonight, though.
And again, no surprise to that contact that he's made. Guerrero throws over to first, and Osika back in time.
Not sure Osika
Was
had
quite sure.
he had the signs right there. Looked like he was taking a rather generous lead at first base. And in this situation, when you're down so many runs, I can't see manager Jeff Lonsberry even want to take the risk here.
And you see it again, as that one's fouled off. And yeah, Osika should have been much more safely back to first than it seemed that he was, but nonetheless, the result is the same. As Duncan fouls one off, it remains 1-2. With 2 gone here, I mean, in a 7-run deficit, if you're Osika, maybe take off. Who knows? Never want to be the first or third out caught stealing, but victims of circumstance are exactly that, as Guerrero misses low to even the count at 2-2 with 2 out.
The Royals to this point, 13 runs on 13 hits. They've made 2 errors. Hamilton Cardinals, 6 runs, 11 hits, 1 error. So they've been hitting the ball a fair bit all over the place, just haven't got the runs to show for it.
And to that stat line, Neil, it's usually the script being flipped on the Royals, which is usually 14 hits and 8 runs and 6 left aboard for Guelph, and they won by 1 in the 9th inning. As Morrow takes that hot shot bouncer and flips it on over to Brando LaRue for out number 3. We are halfway through 6. Guelph 13, Hamilton 6. Connor Morrow leading off the home half of the 6th inning. The Royals with a 7-run lead, 13-6. We are halfway through the 6th. Morrow will be followed by Ethan Hammond, who is the designated hitter tonight, and Malik Cullymore will be after Hammond.
Another Tuesday night, another 2 hour and 15 inning ball game. 2 hour and 15 minute ball game, anyways, and we're only through the sixth.
Halfway through it, to speak, and 2 hour and 15 inning ball games sound a little bit more accurate, to be honest, as the humidity has not quit on us either.
No, it is not. It's definitely one of those nights you just go home, dunk yourself in a vat of cold water, and go to bed.
And that one in there, and we'll see if that strike zone does expand here in this ball game. But again, 7 runs is not insurmountable, especially at this juncture. A 3-run rally in the top of the 7th from Hamilton makes this completely a ball game. So if Guelph is unable to add to their lead, as Morrow pulls one to left field and deep, and out of here, on cue, Connor Morrow, stay hot. A solo shot to lead off the bottom half of the 6th inning from the shortstop.
Morrow got all of that one and clubbed it to left.
And maybe not the most high or most majestic or most sure thing kind of home run that you would expect, but that one didn't slow down even by a hair on its way out of the park. And as I was saying that, if Guelph is unable to add to their lead, they do just that. Connor Morrow makes it 14-6 with a leadoff dinger. And Ethan Hammond follows with Malik Cullymore loosening up on deck.
Hammond 1 for 2, even though he's been up 4 times. He's got a sacrifice fly, an F9, hit by a pitch, and a single so far.
Ortiz misses with that one to make it 1-0.
Some games you get 3 at-bats, some games you get 5 or 6, and this is one of those 5 or 6 night at-bats, or plate appearances anyways.
2-0. In some games, you're Dalton Pompey, and you're 0 for
2.
with 2 runs scored and a few RBIs. As Hammond pulls one to right center field, and
Bounce it over the fence for a ground rule double.
Neil Sriwasa's long vision is much superior to mine, as all I did was see it come back up off the bounce, and that is a ground rule double.
The third baseman, number
I'll let you know a little trick there. The right fielder put his hand up, so that was a giveaway.
So Mike Cullymore with Ethan Hammond at second, and no one got, and the Royals have gotten to David Ortiz quite quickly here in the bottom of the 6th. The count. Cullymore now into the batter's box, and J.D. Williams on deck as Justin Interessano makes a slight appearance on the field to grab some gear from Dino Ramel and makes his way back into the dugout, healthy as ever.
Probably filling in for Jordan Embro here, who ran the bases with the kids in the 5th inning. Probably needs a little bit of a breather.
That one misses, and Williams is ahead 2-0. Or excuse me, Cullymore is ahead 2-0.
You guys tuning in late. Cullymore extended his hit streak to 10 games in the 1st inning with a ground rule double.
After a long, high, deep drive that just went foul, as he laid off or may not have. Either way, called strike number 1, 2-1. No one gone here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and Guelph with another 2 across. Excuse me, 1 more across. The score is 14-6. Cullymore swings on it, and it looks like that will fall in there for a single, and will likely score Ethan Hammond to make it 15-6. And does. That is a RBI double for Malik Cullymore, whose 10-game hit streak was in no way, shape, or form in jeopardy, but just adds another RBI to his collection. And look out, Cleveland Brownlee. That batting title is in severe jeopardy if Malik Cullymore keeps knocking in runs in the juncture and fashion that he's been doing so lately.
Cullymore is definitely creeping up on the RBI totals as well. Brownlee came in leading the league with 38 RBIs. Cullymore has added another 2 here All right, another 3 here, so now he's at 33.
So another big night away as JD turns on the first pitch he sees and pulls it to left. Collymore holds at third. Runners on the corners, no one gone, and Ashton Patterson into the ball game for the Royals.
Pinch hitter for the Royals, number 50, Ashton Patterson.
Patterson with a whole heap of foot speed on him, and kind of that Chuck Knobloch approach to the batter's box with a small strike zone and likes to crouch down and really make pitchers hit their spots. He's not going to overswing. He's not looking to hit one super deep. He's just going to find his spot and produce. As there is now, again, a small conference on the mound for the Cardinals.
More or less, manager Jeff Lonsbury just letting his pitcher take a breather out here, getting a little bit of wind back into his sails here as the inning started with a home run, a double, a single.
And no one down.
And no one down, in fact, yes.
So Patterson into the game for Claudio Custodio, who did take that one off the spine loader earlier in the game, but was no worse for the wear. So obviously just a mercy pull for Dino Ramel, and a guy like Claudio who throws a ton of pitches on each and every start will never, ever, ever be pulled early. Gets his chance at the plate, but this night for him has come to a close. Patterson takes strike number 1.
Patterson came into action batting .272. Definitely more known for his speed. He's definitely more of a gaps hitter in this park.
And there is a ton of gaps between right and center. Chops one, just foul, quickly behind 0-2.
Well, the softball game started after us, and, well, I think they're done. In center field. Looks like they turned the scoreboard off, so yeah, I think they're done.
0-2 coming. Patterson swings and misses. That's a 3-pitch strikeout for Big Poppy David Ortiz.
Play catcher, number 22.
Noah Roberts back to the plate yet again. He is 3 for 4. The ground rule double and a run scored.
Pair of doubles, a single, a run scored, an RBI, and a strikeout swinging.
Runners on the corners. That one gets inside on Bayou, but Malik Collymore more than happy to stay at third. As Kyle Cush gets loose in the on-deck circle. That one, a hot shot back up the middle off the glove of Ortiz and kickballed over to short to Louis Jean.
Tried to kick it over, but it just didn't quite go there in time.
You know what? That wasn't the worst kind of play that you could have made if you're Tristan Osika. And it almost worked out, but unfortunately just dribbled outside of the reach of Jean. So everyone is safe after Collymore scores to make it 16-6.
And that's another single for Roberts as that was deflected off the pitcher.
And it's now 16-6 with runners at first and second and Kyle Cush to the plate and with a 10-run lead. That one makes it 0-1 on Cush from Ortiz. Both runners on base for the Royals looking to go just about nowhere until the ball is hit. That one misses low to even the count at 1-1. Two on, one gone. Count even. Ortiz on Cush. Misses high and outside to make it 2-1.
Royals offense once again into the double-digit marks for the third time in 3 games here. So
A good thing to see, especially with Andrew Case starting his first as a Royal, and Cush swings and misses to even the count. However, as much as the offensive output is fantastic, a few infield mishaps, we'll say, or defensive mishaps rather, in the early going, and relinquished a 4-0 lead after the bottom of the first by way of those mishaps to make it 4-2, but really outscoring those mishaps in a big way. Scored in each and every inning outside of the 5th.
Case started but won't get factored into the decision as he didn't go 5 innings. Emilio Guerrero stands to take the victory here.
As Cush puts one into the glove of Osika, who climbed the ladder. And a great catch for out number 2 from the Cardinals' second baseman. Brando LaRue back to the plate. 2 gone and 2 on here. A 10-run cushion for the Royals' second baseman.
LaRue 1 for 3, batting .243 on the season. He's been hitting a lot more extra base hits of late, finding the gaps.
And I think that left field wall has a big old dent on it from Brando's first hit, and that'll be another one as that gets through and over the head. As JD pulled up, and I'm not quite sure why.
I think that was a straight stop sign here, but could be wrong.
Dino Ramel obviously made the call, but he seemed to pump the brakes and maybe a bit post-maturely, if you will. And the way he pulled up looked like it could have been a whole world of hurt.
Yeah, hopefully he's not, but it looks like he's all right. I got to ask him where he got those sunglasses. Those things are cool. They remind me of the Macho Man Randy Savage out there.
They are called Pit Vipers, Neil, and I will show you exactly where to get them. My girlfriend, as I've mentioned, her mom bought me these Crocs that I'm wearing, and my girlfriend bought me those Pit Vipers. And
nice.
it is it's a fast look. But you can find them at your boathouse, your local dollar store. Actually, right here in the Royals merchandise store as well.
Interesting. There we go.
Signed by J.D. Williams.
Get your credit cards now. Operators are standing by.
That is not a 188 Quest call either.
No, please not. David Bronstein, I assure you, will not answer the phone.
And Pompey finds that way to find the ball through to score JD, as mentioned, to make it 17-6.
Everybody got a hit tonight. As Pompey was the last holdout here.
The shortstop, number 2, Connor Morrow.
And Morrow takes his helmet off as he makes his way to the plate. So we'll see if there's another
pitching change coming on the horizon here as we're in the bottom of the 6th inning. We'll step away for a break here as manager Jeff Lonsberry is singling down once again down to that bullpen.
Connor Morrow back to the plate after heel turning as the Hamilton Cardinals made a...
Royals batting around for the second time this evening in an inning.
And this could be a long one. We are only at 2 hours and 40 minutes, but Julian Russell into the game for the Hamilton Cardinals and misses for ball number 1 on Connor Morrow. And even without Sean Riley or Josh Garton or your meaty hitters, if you will, in the lineup, Guelph has done a good job of really finding a way to make contact and with just a few long balls throughout the game, just kind of punching away at this 17-6 win. 2-0 ahead. Morrow is on the newest Hamilton pitcher, Russell, with the bases loaded and 2 out here in the bottom half of the 6th inning.
20 hits across for the Royals tonight, too. Geez.
And make that a steal from Louis Jean. And a heck of a throw over to Petner at third for out number 3 to get Collymore.
Great play by Luis John at shortstop, no question there.
And I do apologize. Petner has come out of the game, so that was actually Brendan Sanford who made the play on the back half of that Jean catch and tummy throw, if you will. We are now through 6. Guelph 17, Hamilton 6. Kicking off the 7th inning, it's Josh Niles, the first baseman for the Hamilton Cardinals, at the dish. Emily Guerrero remains in the game, and Darius Barless coming into the game for Malik Collymore on the hot corner at third for the Royals, as that first pitch is outside of the strike zone for ball number 1. The infield in quite a bit of a shift, but Guerrero yet to hit the strike zone on Niles to make it 2-0.
Brian Sanford or Brian Sanford?
Brian, I think it's Brian.
That is a strike to make it 2-1. As the humidity has finally cut itself down and a cool breeze comes in across Hastings Stadium, and that one swung on by Niles to even the count at deuces. And Guerrero hoping for a quick inning, as many of these fans are as well. In the top of the 7th. 2-2 the count. Swung on and missed for strike number 3.
The designated hitter, number 13, Bryn Sanford.
Bryn Sanford back into the game as the designated hitcher. And a few fans for Hamilton in the crowd cheering him on. Infield playing back and looking to just keep every ball in front of them, as that is a first pitch strike from Guerrero. The 0-1 half-heartedly swung on and tipped off into the dirt for strike number 2 to make it 0-2.
Guerrero with just the pair of strikeouts so far in the night. So that one's hit foul.
And out of play. So we'll do it again at 0-2. A bit of heat from Emily Guerrero for his third strikeout of the evening. 2 gone on back-to-back strikeouts from the Royals pitcher here to start the top of the 7th.
Renault a single away from the cycle here. He doubled in the second inning, homered in the 4th, got a triple in the 5th inning. He's got 4 RBIs on the night. Guerrero would just like to put him out of his misery here. Renault would love to get that single.
So if I were to hit the ball to the wall and just jog to first, does that count as a single? Or
It counts as a single if you'd stop it first.
Probably would if I was in that scenario, which highly unlikely. As Renault swings and misses on strike 1, Guerrero misses the glove of Roberts with the ball in the dirt to make it 1-1 rather.
Renault got the hard ones out of the way early. The double, the home run, and the triple. And then he just has the single left, which is...
So if that is the one that doesn't quite come to you on this evening, is the one that eats you up more than anything else?
Probably would, because especially in this ballpark. Especially when you've hit the gaps. You hit it over the fence here, too, so it's like...
And Renault a strike away from sitting down on strikes as Guerrero deals. Fouled off, Renault stays alive, and... if anyone knows that Lane Renault is just a single away from the cycle, it's Lane Renault.
No question, he does. I think he hears us talking about it up here. Just waiting for him to nod the head or something or point up. Yeah, I hear you.
So the 1-2 coming yet again after the last pitch was fouled off. Renault.
Oh, not tonight. No soup for you.
Emily Guerrero with a bit of, no soup for you, as Neil just mentioned. Takes it away from Lane Renault for out number 3. We were halfway through 7. No one crossed.
Bottom of the 7th inning here at Hastings Stadium. Well, thank you so much for tuning in on your Tuesday nights. Royals on top of the Cardinals 17-6 as Ethan Hammond comes up for the 6th time tonight. Hammond hit a sacrifice fly in the first inning, flew out to right field in the second, hit by pitch and got an RBI in the third, singled and an RBI in the fourth, and doubled in the sixth. Takes ball one here.
A hard throwing ball, number one. And one also low for ball number two.
Darius Barless on deck for Malik Cullymore. Cullymore's day was done. Barless replaced him at third base last half inning.
3-0 quickly, Hammond ahead in the count.
Hamilton's got 6 runs on 11 hits. They committed 1 error. There's a strike called here. Counts now 3-1 to Hammond. The Royals 17 runs on 20 hits. They have 2 errors, of course, both in the second inning. After the Royals built up a 4-0 lead, they gave 2 runs back.
As Hammond chops that one foul and slices it well out of play to run the count full. Julian Russell looking for a strikeout here, and Ethan Hammond looking to find his way aboard any way possible to lead off here in the bottom of the 7th. That one misses low and puts Hammond aboard. With Darius Barless into the game for the first time at the plate, at least, after Neil mentioned he filled in for Cullymore at third in the last half inning.
Barless comes into action batting .237.
And a vast majority of that batting average has jumped up after he filled in at first base for Justin Interessano.
Yes, it has. He definitely just found a new life over at first and some renewed confidence.
And defensive confidence can kind of bleed into offensive confidence, as that has been exemplified by Darius Barless, who lays off a pitch low and outside for ball number one.
That one misses outside. And
Julian Russell having some location issues here to start the bottom half of the 7th inning. And with an 11-run deficit, Ethan Hammond with that 11-run lead on his side, probably not looking to take off as Barless cuts at one and misses to make it 2-1.
looked like a spicy meatball up there, and he took a good hack at it.
And the bottom fell out on him, and it is a missed pitch for a strike. 2-1 coming shortly and now, as Barless just behind that one and slices it foul. And it bounced off a few things in the distance, and I've learned my lesson of late and parked far, far away.
That's a good call here, especially in this park when balls can go out in weird directions here. They go off rooftops and bounce into the parking lot and still hit windshields.
2-2 coming. That one missed inside and perhaps low. Make the count full. And J.D. Williams eagerly awaiting his turn next. The payoff. Swung on and hit to center. Tyler Duncan underneath it makes the catch for out number one.
The right fielder, number 9, J.D. Williams.
Barless made solid contact there, but unfortunately the hang time did him in there.
The thick air and the wind in your face, or the breeze in your face at the very best, may have taken away from that, as Tyler Duncan was all over it to make the out. And J.D. Williams now with Hammond at first and one gone, and Ashton Patterson looking for his second chance at the plate to follow should we get that far.
Williams 3 for 5 on the night. Got the average up to 321. 3 singles. 2 RBIs.
And for a guy who led off in this lineup for so many games to start the season and was hitting with power, not to say that the power has evaporated, but it's a good thing to see that him poke the ball into open areas and just take the 90 feet. As he is just a little late on that one to slice it foul and even the count at 1-1. Many of these Royals hitters this season have found themselves either in the top of the order, in the middle of the order, or in the very, very bottom third, or coming in off the bench as a pinch hitter, and they've all continued to produce throughout this season, which has seen them have a mighty amount of success and just maybe perhaps 1 or 2 very bad games that they'd like to forget. But nonetheless, Guelph just a few games out of first place behind the Welland Jackfish.
And, you know, I think at this point, this stage in the season, I think if you're the Royals, your mission is to lock up third place, get that home field advantage for the first round, and just let the cards play out between London and Welland as far as 2 teams in front of you.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously the longer you can avoid either one of those teams by being in first or second, the better. However, you will have to face them eventually, so you can't be afraid of them in the postseason either, as the count is now 3-1, and that one misses high to make it 4-1, and JD will take a free base on balls, and Ashton Patterson back to the plate with 1 gone. Noah Roberts will bat behind him. Hammond, 180 feet away from home and in scoring position. Patterson settles into the dish. First pitch is in there for a strike. Russell is doing what he was called upon to do here and chewing up some outs for the Hamilton Cardinals. Patterson swings and misses for strike number 2.
Patterson went down swinging in the 6th inning, looking to avoid the same fate here.
Hammond at second. Williams at first, and Patterson chops one up the middle. Jean can't hang on to it. That is off the glove and into the outfield. Bases are now loaded with just 1 out here.
It was an unfortunate Hastings hop here for Luis John. He went to get it, and it just took a side swipe at him. He had to glove it inside.
There is a minimum of 1 of those Hastings hops, as you have trademarked that term, per night. Per game here, there's always at least 1 of those, and we just got our filling of it here tonight in a 17-6 ball game, and the count at 0-0 as Roberts makes his way back to the plate. Roberts swings and misses for strike number 1.
Roberts having a decent night, 4 for 5, a pair of doubles, a pair of singles, and a strikeout swinging, a ground rule double, 2 RBIs,
Not bad for a young catcher, and we continue to throw praise on him, and he deserves it, but far from fanboying, I'd say, as he looks at ball number 1 to even the count at 1-1, and Noah has shown some power so far in the season and pulled a few to right field, and at this stage of the game with 3 men on and 1 out, he'd like just to add to his RBI and average, but cuts at 1 and just a little late to make it 1-2.
Yeah, in a couple of weeks he's going to go back to school, and I hope he's going to take this experience he's had up here in the Royal City this year and just be a sponge. Pick the brains of the Dalton Pompeys, the Malik Collymores of the Royals roster, even the Sean Rileys, and just, learn from those guys. Learn about the better approaches at the plate and stuff like that, and hopefully it will evolve into a better thing for him in college this fall.
And in my experience post-game with these guys, spending time with them,
Noah Roberts is a sponge, and those guys that you just mentioned are absolutely willing to feed that sponge and say, "Listen, kid, like this is how it works." And this is talking away from the field and in just hangout time as friends. They are happy to see him succeed and genuinely are happy to help him out. As Roberts goes down on strikes for out number 2. Kyle Cush back to the plate yet again.
The first baseman,
Cush
number 5, Kyle
has
Cush.
been pretty darn good so far tonight, and is 2 for 4 and a pair of runs scored, but also has faced probably more pitches than any other Royal so far.
No question he has. He's definitely seen lots of pitches tonight, so he's made the pitching staff work even more than they already had to.
That one in there for strike number 1. So 0-1 on Cush with the bases loaded, and Hammond 90 feet short of making it 18-6. Cush with the black helmet, much similar to Connor Morrow's blue bat. Lays off strike number 2 here in the bottom of the 7th. The 0-2 swung on and fouled off by Kyle to stay alive.
And in this situation, Cush who's been struggling at the plate a lot. And, he's still got to do a job here. He's got to find a way to put one through a hole somewhere.
I feel like tonight has been his most consistent plate appearances, with all 5 of them coming so far, and this being his 6th. But
He's hit the ball hard, no question. But, yeah, he seems to be a little off still. And he switched bats again tonight. He's gone back to his traditional model.
And the one thing of note that is obvious to everyone sitting here in the stadium is that he has adopted the Josh Garton haircut.
Yeah, actually, the one night I thought in batting practice it was Garton out there, and it turns out it was Cush. I was just like, oh, okay.
As Cush is down on strikes for out number 3 to bring the 7th inning to a close. 17-6, Guelph leads. We're off to the 8th.
Top of the 8th inning here at Hastings Stadium. Anthony Bonanito comes up to bat here. Cardinals trailing the Royals 17-6. A long, hot night at the ballpark.
Sticky, icky, icky. And we have a wave from the Hamilton manager.
Okay. Guy looks like a new batter. Got to get him to turn around slightly here so we can figure out who it is.
Number 16 is the digits on his backside, who fouls it off to make it 1-2.
Tyler Giancos.
Oh, thankfully, it's an easier name for Scott to say.
We might have to go with it.
So Tyler Giancos behind 1-2 as he comes into the game for Hamilton, and Emily Guerrero remains on the mound for the Royals in the top of the 8th. Swings and chops that one foul to stay alive. And as mentioned a little bit earlier, I think in the 3rd or 4th or 5th inning, maybe this is a good way for Emily Guerrero to come into a ball game as he gets a strikeout to lead off the top of the 8th on Tyler Gianco. And Mike Bonacarrasco, excuse me,
It's Jacob Reed, actually.
is Jacob Reed, who is wearing Mike Bonacarrasco's number, take strike number 1.
I think somebody left their jersey at home, so
I think I did that a few times once. Count
Heck.
now 1-1.
heck, the Royals went to Hamilton and everybody left their jerseys here in Hastings Stadium the one afternoon. I guess, I think it was the first game of the season in Hamilton.
This season.
Yeah, this season.
That story stays between us. 1-1 coming. Low for ball 2.
I remember the directors of operations, John Story, having to drive from his house in Hamilton to Guelph, get the uniforms, and get them back to the stadium in time. I think halfway through the first inning, that mission was accomplished. That one drops in for a base hit here, and Reed's got a single.
Reed is aboard with a 1-out single here on the top of the 8th.
Yeah, that was no new guy.
Now batting Jeremy Blue.
Or not. It might be Nick Davies. We're looking at her. Looks like somebody else has got a different number on.
So number 8 is now playing for the Hamilton Cardinals, and we will try to find that name on number on the roster. That is Jesse DeRoche. DeRoche fouls one off in behind home plate. And the count is now 1-2. 1-2 coming to DeRoche. Chop to Morrow at short. Over to LaRue for 1. On to Cush for the double play. And we are halfway through 8.
Point for that half inning.
Bottom of the 8th inning, Brando LaRue to lead it off. He'll be followed by Dalton Pompey and Ethan Hammond. In this ball game, Pompey has done just about everything and scored a bunch of runs and finally found his first hit of the game in his last at bat. He remains in the lineup for Dino Ramel. Paul Ante has taken the rest of the night off as the first base coach, as Nelson Mercado will fill in there, and Brando LaRue looking to make contact against John Felice, who has come into the game for Hamilton and is well ahead of that first pitch that Felice throws for strike number 1.
Otto hit a home run on the weekend with the Silver Creek.
And as I'm being told up here in the booth, Nelson Mercado hit a home run with the Silver Creeks as just a young 21-year-old pitcher here for the Royals. Went deep for the Creeks on the weekend. So triple duty as a pitcher, as a home run hitter, and now as a first base coach here for the Royals. As LaRue fouls that one back behind home plate.
Brando's had a 2 for 4 night, a double, a walk, a single. Flown out to second base and flown out to first.
And pulls that one foul as well.
Royals, as we mentioned off the top, have a very busy weekend ahead of them. They have Friday night in Brantford at 8 o'clock, which probably will be likely an 8:45 start because the sun sets in center field at around Anderson Stadium. And then Saturday night home to the Welland Jackfish, the first place Jackfish. And, of course, Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m., Christie Pitts in Toronto versus the Maple Leafs.
And that sun sets no nicer here at 7:30 into left field at Hastings. So perhaps we have a 2-2 count here now coming, and perhaps a school of thought behind that later start. But LaRue swings at a third strike as a defense mechanism and is frustrated within himself. But who can blame him, as he just trying to stay alive on that one, and it gets called down swinging for the first out here in the bottom of the 8th. And Dalton Pompey back to the plate, and Connor Morrow into the on-deck circle, and you can tell based on that blue bat.
Pompey 1 for 3. He's also walked 3 times. Reached in the first on an error. Went down strikeout swinging in the 5th and singled in the 6th for an RBI. Also has an RBI with the bases loaded with a walk.
3 runs scored from Pompey, left stranded at third as well on top of that. And getting no favorable calls here this season. And as we've mentioned, perhaps it's the respect of you're a better hitter than that. The count now even at 1-1 with 1 gone after LaRue went down swinging on strikes. Pompey cuts at 1 to make it 1-2 as the bottom fell out on him. Infield playing the shift. Big time. A large gap between second and third, and Pompey waves at 1 for strike number 3. Connor Morrow to the plate.
Number 2, Connor Morrow.
The former Barry Baycat and now staple in the 2-hole for the Guelph Royals. Has been nothing short of fantastic lately.
He's definitely found his stride and definitely found a home here in the Royal City.
Found his stride and found his swing, especially since moving back over to short, as he was a natural shortstop before this season. Was over to second, and Brando LaRue missed some games, so that gave Connor a chance to show what he had at short, and did nothing but impress there. And again, that defensive confidence seemed to bleed into the offensive confidence as he pulls one high and deep to left field.
That's going to stay in the yard and bounce off the fence and go off the shoeless Joe sign.
One of the longest parts of the yard there.
Off the 408 sign in left center field, and it stayed in the yard.
As Morrow accounts for the 22nd hit of the Royals' evening as a team
Hitter number 28.
and puts himself into scoring position as Ethan Hammond, again, remaining in the game as the designated hitter. And why not a young player that's used to be being deployed out to left field has just had to swing the bat tonight, and he's swung it well back to the plate with Morrow in scoring position.
Now, Darius Barlow's the only Royal that made it into the lineup without a hit tonight, so
And he's 0 for 1, if I'm not mistaken.
you are correct.
He is one Ethan Hammond way of finding himself aboard for his second plate appearance of the evening is Barless. The 0-1 low outside in the dirt for ball number 1, and we are at 1-1 now. And Paul Ante, with legs crossed, sitting in his lawn chair down in the dugout, has done his job so far as first base coach as Hammond flares one to right for a base hit, and Connor Morrow's thinking about home base all the way. Didn't hesitate by a split second. It's 18-6. And Darius Barless back to the plate for the second time tonight. And will look to create contact and find his way aboard to keep that lineup just about perfect. Barless, as Neil mentioned, obviously came in late as a substitution from Malik Collymore at third base, and Barless has been the Swiss Army knife in terms of the infielding for Dino Ramel. He's played second, short mostly for the beginning of the season, and then on to third in the hot corner, and then when Justin Terrasano went down with an injury, was essentially their everyday first baseman, and I believe tonight defensively is his first home game off since that time. That one misses low and outside for ball number 1. Hammond at first, 2 gone here. The delivery. Barless held off, but doesn't matter. That is a called strike number 2. That one misses low, 2-2. John Felice and Darius Barless in a bit of a dogfight here in the bottom of the 8th. The Royals with that 18-6 lead. Felice delivers. Barless fouls one straight back, and dong, it goes. The count remains the same, 2-2. Felice sets. Davies behind home plate for Hamilton. Frames up outside, and Barless lays off. Count is now full. And with 2 gone, Ethan Hammond will be off with the pitch. Delivers. Payoff, fouled away, and out of play. So yet again, we get to do it yet again.
Barlow's doing what he has done best all year, is just eat lots of pitches, foul things off, and give everybody else around him an opportunity to see whatever the pitcher's got here.
Exactly, and just because it's a 12-run lead doesn't mean you need to quit doing what you're good at. And Barless wisely waits and is sure that he took ball number 4. He is aboard. Hammond at second.
Right fielder number
And
9,
J.D. Williams back to the plate.
As Williams will come to bat again, he's 3 for 5. 3 singles, a walk, the fielder's choice, and popped out to first base. He's got 2 RBIs on the night as well.
So as busy as the Hamilton pitchers have been, the Royals batters equally as much so. Felice chucks one inside on Williams, who wanted to swing but had to pull back and get out of the way on it to make it 1-0. Ashton Patterson on deck. Hammond at second, Barless at first. Felice sets, deals. Inside yet again. And Davies doing a good job of trying to frame that one over the plate, but to no avail. Two and 0 now coming as Williams sets up and backs off the plate just a bit. Right back up the middle, and that should get through and does. Hammond holds at third, Barless to second. J.D. Williams with a 2-out single here in the bottom of the eighth.
Left fielder number 50, Ashton Patterson.
Ashton Patterson back to the plate, and he filled in for Claudio Custodio in the sixth hole and found his way aboard by way of single last time out, just 1 inning ago. So the Royals making quick work of this order. That one in there for a strike with the bases loaded. Felice takes his eye off it for a split second and scoops it up and returns to the bump. 0-1 the count here on Patterson. Noah Roberts, also another young Silver Creek that is in the lineup for the Creeks with Patterson, will follow Ashton should we get any further, but we are behind 0-2 if you're a Royals fan on Felice. Patterson looking to stay alive here with 2 strikes. That one well outside for a ball. If you look over at that Hamilton dugout, life seems to need to be on support. 1-2 from Felice as he shakes off and now gets the pitch he likes. Delivers. Patterson gets a hold of one to right. Not enough juice, and that is hauled in for out number 3 to bring the 8th inning to a close. The Royals tack on one more. It's 18-6, 3 men left stranded. We're off to the top of the 9th here at Hastings Stadium.
Jean.
Ethan Berry into the game to close it out for the Royals, and Louis Jean from the top of the order leading it off in the top of the ninth for the Hamilton Cardinals, who trail by just a mere 12 runs, 18-6, but a whole heck of heart shown from Hamilton in this ball game and have refused to go away, as Barry and Roberts need a quick discussion to get this inning started.
Louis Jean leading it off. He's 0 for 4. Came into action tonight batting .351.
And I don't know how much he's going to like Kyle Cush taking a knee at first base, as he's been doing this entire time.
Yep.
Cush has not moved from that hip flexor stretch position until just now, as we are about set to go here to kick off the ninth inning. Guelph 18, Hamilton 6. Jean at the dish. Barry high on Jean for ball number 1. Middle of the infield remains the same. Morrow and LaRue, who started, have not moved in terms of the 9 innings that we've played so far. The 8, excuse me. And as we're into the ninth, Barless at third. Cush has remained at first as well. And Roberts has remained behind home plate. Barry replaced Guerrero. 1-1 delivered. Fouled off behind home. Make it 1-2. And Ethan Barry has been a consistently deployable pitcher, but in only spurts for Dino Ramel so far this season. Has been super effective when put into place. The 1-2 coming. Jean checks and
Check it.
appeal goes, and that is not a swing. To even the count at 2-2. The ball was inside. Jean kind of turned his hips, but was able to hold the bat back behind home plate to make sure that was not a full-blown swing, and stays alive. The deuce bounces out of Noah Roberts' glove for ball number 3. Count is now full to lead off the top of the ninth. The 3-2 coming from Barry on Jean. Popped up in the infield. Noah Roberts behind home plate. Discards the mask and the helmet and makes the catch for out number 1.
The second baseman, number 20, Tristan Osika.
Tristan Osika back to the plate now to follow Jean. Tyler Duncan will loosen up. Osika, 2 singles to lead off his evening, and then was hit by a pitch and later scored, and then was found his way aboard by way of fielder's choice. So 3 for 4 is the second baseman for the Cardinals. This is his 5th at bat of the evening. Excuse me, 2 for 3 as I'm corrected after that hit by pitch, but with a run scored. And again, math, not my strong suit. Osika also not actually any longer in the game. He has been pinch hit for here, as it is back Spencer into the game here in the 2-hole. So Osika, who climbed the ladder and took a hit away from one of the Royals just a few innings ago, his evening has come to an end. Swings at 1 and misses, and Ethan Barry a quick 0-1 count for himself with 1 gone. Barry delivers the 0-1. Outside and almost framed perfectly by Noah Roberts, but called the ball. And that pitch would have been sold very, very well.
Clean inning would do wonders for Lucas's Barry's, even just his confidence. He's been in quite some ball games where he's had to suck up some innings here, and, well, that's not fortunately going to be the way here. This one's hitting into center field. It's going to go past Pompey and all the way to the fence. Spencer back on his way to second base with a double here with 1 away in the ninth.
Spencer back found a way to make some decent contact off the bat for a 1-out double, and Tyler Duncan, who knows his way around the baseball bat. Back to the plate, he will remain in the game. The center fielder and perhaps this team's strongest player in terms of just about every tool you need as a baseball player. Tyler Duncan has been just that.
Spencer Beck getting the souvenir there, and it's going into the trophy case somewhere as it's handed off to the athletic therapist down the line.
Barry checks back. Morrow juggles that one, and Spencer back easily into third. And all of a sudden, runners on the corners for Hamilton with one gone here in the top of the ninth.
That'll go in the books as a base hit, as that was a tough play for Morrow, even if to think about making. Regardless.
That was about 40 quick steps to his right and tried to low himself down to make that catch, and unable to come up with a fantastic play. Running away from first base would have been a hard throw regardless. And Josh Niles also remains in this ball game for Hamilton, now up with one gone and runners on the corners in the top of the ninth. Swings at one and pumps one high to center field, but not deep at all. Catch made by LaRue. Back tags, I believe, and scores. However, he looked like he might have taken off a little early.
They might step off here and throw over to third in a second here.
Perhaps a check would be in order if you're Ethan Berry and Darius Barless.
Doesn't look like, looks like they're looking over there or something. He's kind of waving out at it.
Barless turned his back as Berry was going to check, and the throw never came. Either way, it's now 18-7 with two gone. That one high for ball one. The 1-0 coming, misses inside and severely for ball two. Britton Sanford ahead 3-0. And as mentioned, Lucas, who wanted a clean inning, now running into a world of dirty laundry. The 3-0, two gone. 4-pitch walk.
And that's going to bring up Blaine Renault here as he's still a single shy for the cycle here, so we have to see what happens here.
And after Emily Guerrero took that one away and kind of stared him down his last at-bat, which he assumed would have been his last chance at it, we'll see if Blaine Renault can make him pay for that one, even in just a subtle way. And the mini game within a game that is likely well out of reach, with the Royals still with an 11-run lead, 2 men on for Hamilton.
Regardless of the score, if he hit the cycle here anyways, it's still quite the feat. Of course, the Cardinals, hit him off the hand, and there's going to be no cycle for him.
I think Lane Renault might prefer to just say it hit the bat.
Hit the bat.
He is actually saying hit the bat.
He wants the cycle. Foul ball. All right.
And he will get the favorable call, because who would lie about that?
That's quite the sell job there, but that's okay. It's a good thing we don't have.
It sounded a little tough, but who knows if that was bone or bat. But Lane Renault says bat, and do not argue with him.
And Lucas Berry will be more than happy to oblige another pitcher.
So a strike one. That one in there for strike two, and maybe perhaps the home plate umpire says take your lunch or eat it or not.
Yep.
0-2 now, and Lucas Berry now a strike away. Lane Renault flares one, and he will find his way to the cycle. Lane Renault with a bit of history here at Hastings Stadium. And that baseball will go into the trophy case for Lane Renault. For you non-everyday baseball fans out there, hitting for the cycle is something that may happen once in a lifetime. Unless you're, of course, maybe one of the greatest hitters of all time, but I can't even come up with one who's hit for the cycle multiple times in the majors.
It's very, very rare if it's happened at all.
My guess would be Albert Pujols, but I don't see him hitting too many triples ever, even when he was younger.
Nope.
Lucas Berry in there for strike number 1. That one to third. Barless over to LaRue. Ball game! Lane Renault hits for the cycle. The Royals bring 18 across home plate. They win 18-7 and pick up another W at home, where they have been hotter than a pistol so far this season, and a busy weekend coming up. They hit the road on Friday, back at home on Saturday for the Well and Jackfish, who will come to town. On behalf of Neil Sriwasa, Bruce Barker, and Mark Graham, I'm Scott Fraser, saying thank you and good night.